بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. صباحكم الله بالخير. Your Excellencies, honored guests and colleagues, good morning and thank you all for joining us today on this Human Development Initiative of Agthia in the year of the Zayed. Before I go ahead, by the way, if you wish to share your comments, pictures, please use our hashtag at Agthia Academy on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. What marks this event is our keynote speaker, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. Dr. Goldsmith is the #1 coach and leadership thinker in the world. He is a pioneer in helping successful leaders achieve positive, lasting change in behavior. His success is built upon a very practical approach to a leadership. His clients have included over 150 major CEOs. Dr. Goldsmith is the author of 36 books, which have sold over 2 million copies, being translated into 32 languages and become listed bestseller in 12 countries. As we all look forward to hear Dr. Goldsmith, I would like to ask our Agthia Group CEO, His Excellency, Engineer Tariq Al-Wahidi, to say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good morning, everybody. Mr. Chairman and Your Excellencies, Dr. Marshall, thank you so much for coming. It's quite an honor to have a distinguished guest with us here today, talking about leadership, which is very vital for this company. And the guest that we have here today, and Dr. Marshall just emphasized how important this is for us. I mean, to my colleagues, to my team. I mean, Dr. Marshall is the writer of the book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. So, I mean, and what got us here today in Agthia won't get us there where we really aim to be, unless we have to adapt ourselves and to certain things that we have to upgrade our skills and upgrade our knowledge as to move forward. So, we started 2 years ago with a CEP program, which has proven to be very, very successful. And on that basis, we try to develop further programs for the development of our employees on different levels to enhance their innovation and leadership. And today, what we're doing today is just part of this program, where we're trying to enhance this skill and this knowledge to move forward, because we want to create leaders. Leadership shouldn't just remain within an elite group in this company. Every one of us should be a leader. Every one of us should own this company. And this is very crucial. And that's what I try to always to talk about each one of you, that this is very important. Unless we feel ownership of this company, we won't get there. And ownership comes with the leadership skill. We don't need managers today, we need leaders. And it's totally different. So I hope that we will be able to learn several things today from Dr. Marshall. And this will be a very interactive session that we will have today. I look forward to this session, and with this I just want to conclude. I would like to thank Barak and Mr. Tawfiq for making this happen, as they are driving this whole training and innovation skill enhancement for the employees. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me okay? I will briefly introduce myself and we will begin. My name is Marshall. I'm from a small town called Valley Station, Kentucky. I went to undergraduate school at a little engineering school, had a degree in mathematics, got an MBA degree at Indiana, PhD at UCLA. I was a college professor indeed when I was very, very young. Then for the past 40 years, I've done 4 things. Like today, I give talks or teach classes. This is what I love to do the most. I love speaking, I love teaching, and I travel all around the world. As I mentioned, some of you have been to 100 countries, and on American Airlines alone, I have over 11 million frequent flyers. So I'm a mega flyer. So the first thing I do is speaking and teaching, which I enjoy. I teach at the Dartmouth Tech School of Business. And the second thing I do, which I'm most famous for, is I coach executives. So I've been an executive coach of the CEO of Ford, Pfizer, Glaxo, the president of the World Bank, head of the Mayo Clinic, on and on and on. What I love about coaching is not what I teach, but what I learn. In theory, I'm supposed to teach these people. In practice, I learn far more from these people than I teach. So that's what I love the most about coaching. Then the third thing I do is writing and editing, and I have book number 37 coming up, so that's very exciting. And then I give everything away online. All my material you may copy, share, download, duplicate, use in your business, charity, nonprofit. Please use any of my material any way that you wish. I'm getting old. My basic attitude is we're all going to be equally dead. Might as well do some good here. So if any of this stuff does any good for any of you, please feel free to use anything you wish. And then my fun project now is I'm adopting people. I went to a program called Design the Life You Love. In this program, no one said career heroes. My heroes were all very, very generous people who were great teachers. She said, why don't you be more like them? I decided to adopt 15 people, teach them everything I know for free. And the only price is when they get older, they have to do the same thing. Well, it turned out I made a little selfie video and put it on LinkedIn to advertise this. I ended up with 16,000 applicants. So now I'm adopting 100 people, and they're wonderful people. Hopefully you can meet someone. One of them was Alan, who was the CEO of Ford and president of the World Bank and head of the Rockefeller Foundation, and just wonderful, wonderful people. And so it's a fun project where I'm going to give everything away to everyone I meet, and then the price is when they get old, they have to do the same thing. So that's a fun project. Now what are we going to be doing today? Our mission is from success to significance in business and people, helping successful leaders get even better. Now, you're all very successful people. If you were not successful, you would not be sitting in this room at this time. One of the great challenges of successful people is the more successful we become, the harder it can be to change. Successful people fall into a trap called the superstition trap. I behave this way. I am successful. Therefore, I must be successful because I behave this way. Wrong. Everyone in the room, we all behave the way we behave, and we're all successful. And everyone here is successful because you do many things right, and in spite of doing some things that are stupid. And I've never met anyone who was so wonderful they had nothing on the in spite of list. So we've all got a little something on the in spite of list. Now, as was mentioned, today is going to be very interactive. One of the advantages of coming to a program like this is you get to meet new people. Yet most of you are sitting with people you already know the most. That is now going to stop. Everyone in the room is going to stand up. You're going to look around the room. You're going to find one person you don't know quite so well as the others, and you are going to sit next to that person. Stand up! Let's go! Stand up! Stand up. Go find a new partner. Go, go, go. Stand up. Move around. Find a partner. Everybody find a partner. Let's go. Find a partner. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, sit by your new partner. Sit by your new partner. Let's go. Sit, sit, sit. Sit by your partner. Very nice. Sit by your new partner. Okay, sit, sit. Sit by your new partner. Sit, sit, sit. Sit, sit. Sit by your partner. Go sit. Go sit. Let's go. Let's go. Sit by your partner. Sit, sit, sit. Sit by your partner. Let's go. Sit by your partner. Everybody needs a partner. Sit by your partner. All right. Quiet, quiet. Sit. Sit by your partner. Quiet, quiet. Now today, Quiet, quiet, quiet. We are now going to practice peer coaching. In peer coaching, you are not here to judge your partner. No judging. You're not here to critique your partner. You are not here to put your partner down. You're here to help your partner. I want you to look at your partner and say, partner, my name is, I am here to help. Go! Talk to your partner. Partner, my name is, I'm here to help. Okay, stop. Now, I love getting emails. If you get a chance, send me an email, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com. If you send me an email, I cannot promise to get back to you immediately. I will get back to you eventually. Sometimes it takes a little while. I always get back to people, it just may take a while. And that's my website, www.marshallgoldsmith.com. I have over 200 videos online. I give everything away. Please use any of my material any way that you wish. Now we're going to have an exercise program today. My exercise program is I'm going to walk around the room. Walk. This is my exercise program. You have an exercise program. I never want to see the back of your head. Turn. I don't want to see the back of your head here. So I walk around, and then you turn. Turning is your exercise program. So I walk and you turn so I don't see the back of your head. Now let us get started. Before he died, I had the privilege of spending 50 days with the great Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker, the founder of modern management. Now, I got ranked #1 leadership thinker in the world. My intellect compared to Peter Drucker is that of a 10-year-old child. This man was so smart. He taught me so many wonderful things. One of the great lessons he taught me is this. He said, we spend a lot of time helping leaders learn what to do. We do not spend enough time helping leaders learn what to stop. He said, half of the leaders that I meet do not need to learn what to do. They need to learn what to stop. And that's going to be our first goal. Learn some of the classic challenges that come with success in leadership and how to use what to stop in coaching. Number 2, a share process designed to increase accountability and ownership, which lead to greater engagement and success. We're going to practice something today called Feed Forward. I love Feed Forward. Very positive, upbeat way to help yourself and others get better. Proven around the world. I'm going to share a proven leadership development model that you can use to develop yourself, coach people, and build teams. And then I'm going to share how my friend Alan Mullally had 2 of the greatest turnarounds in recent history. And you've had a chance. Where's your CEO? Yeah, you had a chance to meet my friend Alan. Wonderful, wonderful man. So I'm going to talk about what he did to lead 2 of the greatest turnarounds in the history, at least of the U.S. Now today, everything I teach you today is going to be incredibly easy to understand. Nothing I teach you today is going to be incredibly easy to do. If you read my book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, you will read funny story after funny story after funny story. It is very tempting to read this book and think, what a bunch of idiots. How could these people be so stupid? The idiots in the book all have IQs of 150, and they're all CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies. And they'll all tell you, this stuff is easy to understand. This stuff is not easy to do. Now let us begin. I was interviewed in the Harvard Business Review and asked a question. What is the #1 problem of all of those successful people you have worked with over the years? What is their #1 problem? And yes, as I look into your eyes, I sense the problem in this room. Yes, I feel many of you may be afflicted with this disease. What was my answer? Winning too much. Now, what does this mean? If it's important, we want to win. Meaningful, we want to win. Critical, we want to win. Trivial, we want to win. Not worth it, we want to win anyway. Winners love winning. In the game of life, you're all winners. It is incredibly difficult for winners not to constantly win. I'm now going to give you a case study of winning too much that almost all of my clients fail. I will make a prediction. Almost all of you will fail the case study. And when I say fail, you will fail yourself. You will say, what I did do is the opposite of what I know I should have done. Here is the case study. You want to go to dinner at restaurant X. Your wife, husband, or partner wants to go to dinner at a restaurant. Why? You have a heated argument. You go to the restaurant. Why? It was not your choice. The food tastes awful and the service is terrible. Option A, critique the food. Point out our partner was wrong. This mistake could have been avoided had only you listened to me. Option B, shut up. Eat the stupid food. Try to enjoy it and have a nice evening. What would I do? What should I do? Almost all of my clients, what would I do? Critique the food. What should I do? Shut up. How many people in the room, please raise their hands, have ever critiqued the food before? Come on, hands in the air. Food critiquers. Yes, a room filled with food critiquers. Now, was that smart or stupid? Stupid. Stupid is the right answer. Very stupid. And by the way, as stupid as it was, I'm going to give you an example now that is so stupid, it will make that one pale by comparison. And half the people in the room have done this. Case 2. You have a hard day at work, a hard day, under so much pressure. Push. More. Numbers. Such a hard day. You go home. Your wife, husband, or partner is there, and the other person says, I had such a hard day today. I had such a tough day. And we reply, you had a hard day. Do you have any idea what I had a problem with today? Do you think you had a hard day? We are so competitive, we have to prove we are more miserable than the people we live with. I gave this example to my class at the Dartmouth Tuck School of Business. A young man in the back raised his hand. He said, I did that last week. I asked him, what happened? He said, my wife looked at me. She said, honey, you just think you've had a hard day. It is not over. Now, I got an email that is in my book Triggers. If any of you would send me such an email after today, I would be very proud of that. A young man sent me an email and he said, I know you do not remember me. He said, I was in your class 5 years ago. I wanted to send you an email today and say thank you. He said, yesterday I was under a lot of pressure. I was behind schedule. I was at the office and my wife called. She was talking about what a terrible day she had. Oh, hit that guy, kill him, this fellow there. These two. Yeah, he hit both of them. This guy, very bad. The brown guy, very good. So he said, I was having a terrible day, under all kinds of pressure, and my wife called. She started talking about what a bad day she was having. I was just getting ready to point out how her problems paled in significance to my own. He said, for some reason, I remembered your class. I stopped. I started breathing. And I thought, this is my wife. This is somebody I love. This is not the enemy. He said, I just listened to my wife and said, I love you. Thank you for everything you've done for the family. He said, I went home, spent $25, bought her some flowers, gave her the flowers, and said, I love you. He said, that was the best $25 I've ever spent. Thank you. Well, the next time you get into this, let me prove I'm right. Let me win this battle. Ask a question. What am I winning? Talk to your partner 20 seconds to answer this question. When was one time in the past you had a need to win and to prove that you were right? And you shouldn't have been fighting the battle in the first place. Go! Talk to your partner. Talk to your partner. Okay, stop. Stop. Okay, look back here. Now, next classic problem of smart, successful people is called adding too much value. Now, what does that mean? I'm young, smart, enthusiastic. I come to you with an idea. You think it's a great idea. Rather than just saying great idea, our natural tendency is to say, well, that's a nice idea. Why don't we add this to it? The problem is the quality of the idea may go up 5%. My commitment to execute the idea may go down 50%. It's no longer my idea, boss. No, it's your idea. Incredibly difficult for smart, successful people to realize that effectiveness of execution is a function of A, what is the quality of the idea, times B, what's my commitment to make it work. My good coaching client, J.P. Garnier, was CEO of GlaxoSmithKline. He retired about 8 years ago. I asked him, what did you learn about leadership as the CEO of this huge, huge company? He said, I learned a very hard lesson. Every time you get more powerful in life, this lesson will become more real for you. He said, my suggestions become orders. Or in Arabic, the wish of the prince is a command. My suggestions become orders. Now he said, if they're smart, they're orders. If they're stupid, they're orders. If I want them to be orders, they are orders. If I do not want them to be orders, they're orders anyway. My suggestions become orders. Every time you get promoted, more and more and more of your suggestions start becoming orders. Mike Duke retired as the CEO of Walmart. Funny guy. He retired. And he had a funny joke he told. Thought it was funny. Told the same joke, and it was a clean joke. It didn't offend anyone. Kind of hard at Walmart, not to offend anyone with a joke. He found this joke he thought was so funny. He said he always told the joke and everyone laughed. Such a nice joke. Then he retired. He told the joke. No one laughed. He thought, well, maybe this group is grumpy. He tells a joke to another group. No one laughed. Finally, his wife said, you idiot, the joke was never funny. You're just the CEO of Walmart. It's very hard for us not to start believing our jokes are funny, that our comments are wise, and that we're really profound. Well, great thing to remember, my suggestions become orders. What's the first thing I teach the admirals in the United States Navy? When you get that star, your suggestions become orders. Admirals do not make suggestions. What is the response when an admiral makes a suggestion? Sir, yes, sir. That suggestion becomes an order. Now, I asked my friend JP, what did you learn from me when I was your executive coach that helped you the most? He said, you taught me one lesson that helped me be a better CEO and have a happier life. I asked him, what was that one lesson? He said, before I speak, stop and breathe and ask myself one question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And he said, as the CEO of a huge company, 50% of the time, if I had the discipline to stop and to breathe and to ask myself, is it worth it? What did I decide? Am I right? Maybe. Is it worth it? No. Okay, everyone look up here. I want everyone to smile. Smile. I want you all to take a deep breath, and I want everyone to go, hand, very good, hand. Now, I want you to think back to the last time you got angry. You got into a heated argument with someone you love, when you had a need to win and prove that they were wrong on a minor or insignificant point. Have any of us ever done that before? Yeah. Was it worth it? Everyone look up here. Do any of you have teenage children? Teenagers. Many of you have teenagers. Very good. Now, I have another question. Have we ever attempted to prove the teenage child was wrong on a minor or insignificant point before? Have we tried that, Mom and Dad? How's that working for you? No. Win the big things. All that little stuff, just take a deep breath, let it go. Now, more good news. Everything I teach you today does not just apply at work. It all applies at home. And one thing I love about working here in the region is people are very family-oriented. At the end of the day, the people at home are more important than the people at work. I'm now going to give you 4 words that help you be a better coach at work and a better family member at home. And these 4 words apply to almost all of them. What are these 4 simple words? Help more, judge less. Help more, judge less. How many of us have friends and family members that might be happy if we help just a little bit more and we judge just a little bit less? Would it be object to these changes? No. What's your first name, sir? Costas. What are the odds a year from today anyone is going to come back and say, Costas, we miss the judgmental you? Highly unlikely this will be a problem for any of us. Now, you're going to talk to your good partner. This is your first prize-winning opportunity. We're going to have some prize books for the winners. You're going to talk to your partner and answer this question. What percent of all interpersonal communication time is spent on A, people talking about how smart, special, and wonderful they are, or listening to somebody do that, plus B, people talking about how stupid and inept or bad someone else is, or listening to someone do that. You're going to take A plus B divided by all communication time and give you one percentage number. 0 would be none. Obviously, the number cannot be 0. 100 would be all. The number cannot be 100. You're going to give me one number between 0 and 100. Now, do I have any engineers in the room, by the way? Engineers. There's several engineers. This adding value, engineers are the worst, by the way. Engineers are the worst. Do I have any electrical engineers? Electrical engineers? No? Okay. They're even worse, right? Now, I was just in India. In India, they have this school called the IIT, Indian Institute of Technology. You know this school? No, yeah. How do you know someone who goes to the IIT is smart? You talk to them 5 minutes and they point it out several times in the conversation. So I'm used to working with engineers. It's hard for engineers not to constantly go through life adding value. Who else? Engineers, raise your hand again. Come on, engineers, hands up. Engineer. What kind of engineer are you? Mechanical engineer. Have you ever pointed out to friends and family members that their comments are illogical? Have you done that before? And do they love you because of this or in spite of this? Well, that's a classic engineer disease. Looking for logic where none exists and being constantly shocked if you don't find it. Now, back to this. What percent of all time spent on A, people talking about how smart, special, wonderful they are, listening to do this, plus B, people talking about how stupid and bad somebody else is. You're going to take A plus B divided by all communication time and give you one number between 0 and 100. Now, there's not a right answer. There is an average answer. I've asked over 100,000 people around the world to answer this question. When you give me your score, I'll tell you how you compare it with the average score in the world. Do you all understand the rules? To your marks, get set. Talk to your partner. You've got 20 seconds to come up with one number between 0 and 100. Go, go, go. Talk. Okay, stop. Shh. Everyone look back here. Look back here. Now, you know, I need somebody that can add and divide numbers to help me on the next part of the exercise. So, you think this guy can do it? You can do it back here, this guy. Now, sir, here's your assignment. You're going to add up all the numbers you see, divide by the number of people, and give me the average score. Can you still do it? Let's hear it for him. He can do it. He can do it. Very good. Very good. Okay, you write down the numbers. Give me a number between 0 and 100. What'd you say? 80. Write that down. 80. Write that down. 80. What'd you say? How much? 20. We have an 80 and a 20. Another 80. 80, 80, and 20. A 78. 62. What'd you say? 75. Okay, you guys give me a number. 80, okay. 55. and 65. Okay, add up all the numbers, divide, and give me the average score. The average score in the entire world is very close to 65%. Did anybody get a 65? Oh, wait a minute. That's not a 65. What'd you guys get? 65? 60. Did anybody get 65? Over here. Your team got a 65? Let's hear it for the 65 over here. Very good, very good. Now, prize for you two. Now, there's not a right score. That's just the average score. It is amazing how consistent this is around the world. What's the average score in the room? Is what? And the average score in the room, 66. It is amazing how consistent this is. I do this all around the world. The scores are almost always within a very, very, very small band. I've almost never seen it below 55 or above 75. The score is always in a very, very short band. Now, everyone look up here. How many of you, given pressures of work and home and new technology that follows you everywhere, emails, voicemails, and competition, how many of you feel about as busy today as you have felt in your whole lives? Raise your hands. Yes, most of the room. I'm now going to give you a productivity enhancement tool for yourself and your teams. Are you ready? Reduce that number. Reduce that number. How much we learn talking about how smart, special, and wonderful we are? Nothing. How much we learn talking about how stupid everybody else is? Nothing. And what percent of all time is wasted on that in communication? 65. Cut that out. Now, by the way, most people would say the bottom half of the equation is about twice as big as the top half. The bottom half is about twice as big. In other words, we spend a lot of time talking about how smart we are. We spend twice as much time talking about how stupid everyone else is. Now, reduce the number. Now, learning from a great leader. You've met my friend. In my job as an executive coach, I have a very unique billing system. I don't get paid 1 cent if my clients don't get better. Better is not judged by me or them. It's judged by everyone around them. This is a way to test if someone believes what they're saying. You can ask a person one question and instantly determine that level of belief. What's the question? Do you want to bet on it? They say, I believe it, but I wouldn't bet on it. They don't believe it. They say, here's the money. They believe it. I bet on this every time. When you get paid for results, you learn a little humility. The client I coached that I spent the most amount of time with did not improve at all, and I did not get paid. The client I coached that I spent the least amount of time with improved more than anyone I've ever coached. 200 people got better, and I did get paid. This was a humbling lesson. For those of you with a background in mathematics, I made a chart. On one dimension, it was called time spent with Marshall Goldsmith. The other dimension was called improvement. There was a clear negative correlation between spending time with me and getting better. I thought, this is a troubling chart. I go talk to my client who improved the most, who has spent the least amount of time with, who you have met, who was ranked number 3 great leader in the world behind only the Pope and Angela Merkel in 2014, CEO of the Year in the United States. He's my friend Alan Mulally, who was the CEO of Ford. Fantastic job of turning the company around. The stock went from $1 to $18.40 when he was there. And this is a union company. They usually hate CEOs. They didn't hate him. When he left Ford, he personally made, I believe, $400 million. It was public knowledge. They knew he was the CEO in the union. They knew he made $400 million. He had a 97% approval rating from every employee in the union company. They loved the guy. Why? He saved the company. And he's just the nicest guy in the world. You had a chance to meet him. Just a wonderful, wonderful person. So I go talk to my friend Alan. I said, Alan, of all the people I coached, you improved the most. And I spent the least amount of time with you. I showed Alan my chart. I said, Alan, the way this troubling chart looks, had you never met me, you would really be good. So I asked my friend Alan, what should I learn about coaching from you? He taught me 2 lessons, which I'm now going to share with you. If you don't learn anything else today but these 2 lessons, you'll be a better coach and have a happier life. He said, Marshall, lesson number 1, your biggest challenge as a coach is called customer selection. If you pick the right customer, your coaching process will always work. If you pick the wrong customer, your coaching process will never work. He said, 2, never make the coaching process about yourself and your own ego and how smart you think you are. Make it about those great people you work with, how hard they work and how proud you are of them. Then he said, as the CEO of Ford, my job wasn't that different. He said, I do not design the cars. I do not build the cars, and I do not sell the cars. I have to have great people. And he said, every day I drove to work, I tell myself, leadership's not about me. Leadership is about them. For the great individual achiever, it is all about me. And every one of you is a pretty great individual achiever, or you would not be sitting in this room at this time. That does not mean you're a great leader. There's a big difference between I'm a great achiever and I'm a great leader. That's the difference between all about me and all about them. Many of us never get this point. Do I have any lawyers in the room? Do you have a lawyer here? Lawyer? Where's the lawyer? Lawyer. Lawyer. He was into lawyer denial, a little bit hesitant to hold his hand up there. Lawyer in the back. Stand up, a good lawyer. Stand up. Back in the back. What's your first name, sir? My good lawyer. Look around the room. Now, I have a question. Is this a group of high character, ethics, and integrity? Yes or no?
Of course, yes.
Of course, yes. You're sure?
Of course.
Of course, he says. We're going to test that right now. Including you, I'm going to ask the group a question. Yes, a troublesome question. Perhaps a personal question. Maybe even an embarrassing question. Including you. If the answer is yes, you must raise your hands. How many people in this very room are still stupidly attempting to change the behavior of a husband or wife who has no interest in changing? Come on, come on. Hands in the air. Look at that guilty-looking man. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Now, what's your name, sir?
Andrew.
Now, Andrew, what's your job?
I'm the CEO of Ducat.
How many years have you been engaged in this partner-changing crusade?
28.
28 wasted years. Andrew, look at smile. 28 wasted. Has anybody been doing it longer than 28 years? Okay. Now, over here, wait. Andrew, someone's worse than you. Thank you. Stand up. What's your name? How many years have you been attempting to change your husband? Many years. No. Now, okay, I have a second question. Another troublesome, personal, even more embarrassing question. If the answer is yes, you must raise your hands. Everyone look up here. How many people in this very room are still stupidly attempting to change the behavior of mommy or daddy who has no interest in changing? Come on, hands up. Parental change agents. Yes, I see that hand sneaking up. Are you trying to change mommy, daddy, or both?
Mommy.
How many years have you been attempting to change mommy now?
44 years.
Another 44 years. You're no longer the stupid champion. You've been defeated. 44 years. I was teaching my class at Dartmouth. A woman raised her hand. I said, are you attempting to change mommy or daddy? She said, daddy. I said, what is daddy's problem? She said, daddy does not have a healthy lifestyle. I asked her, how old is daddy? She said, 94 years old. There you go, boy. You want to smoke a cigar, old man? Smoke too. Who cares? He's 94 years old. A great lesson. Anybody here from India? India? Oh, India. Is your mother-in-law still alive? Not still. No. Now, in India, that's a special challenge. Yeah, the mother-in-law in India, that's a very, very big challenge. Now, great learning point for coaching adults. If you're coaching adults, a great lesson, if they do not care, do not waste your time. How much of our lives have been wasted trying to change the behavior of adults that don't care? And what is our return on that investment? By the way, the time we waste with people who don't care is stolen from the ones that do care. As a coach, put your time and energy in with the do care, with the ones that do care. Michael Bell, the CEO of Dr. Dukes. I was teaching at the Inc. 5000 conference in the States. Michael Dell spoke before me. What did he say about people who don't care? Pay them to leave. Pay them to leave. He said it doesn't matter what it takes to get rid of them. Get rid of them. They're just a bad influence on everybody else. Pay them to leave. Put your time and energy as a coach with people who do care. Now, by the way, for you to get better as a leader, as a friend, as a partner, if you don't care, don't waste your time. If you're going to improve on anything, the motivation for your improvement needs to come from one and only one place. Where's that? In your heart. If it doesn't come from in here, you won't do it anyway. Look at the people I coach. I cannot make these people change what they do not want to change. What am I supposed to do? Shoot them, beat them up, kill them? I cannot make them change what they do not want to change. I can help them change what they do want to change. That's good enough. I can't make you change what you don't want to change. If you don't want to change something, it's okay. I'm not here to judge. You're not going to change it anyway. I can help you change what you do want to change. And that's good enough. Now, I'm going to ask each of you to pick one behavioral change, one change. That if you get better at this one thing, it's going to make a positive difference in your life. Not 30, not 50, not 100, how many? Just one. It'll make a positive difference. And the goal is for you to get better at that. If you haven't thought of anything yet, look over here, look over here. Who in the room, please raise your hand, is impatient? Who's impatient? Oh, back here, sir, stand up. You stand up, sir. What is your name, sir? This man is so impatient, he was the first one to raise his hand. Now, I have a question. Would your friends and family members be sad if you became more patient or happy? What do you think? Happy is the right word. Happy. Let's go with happy on this one. They would be happy. One night I had dinner with General Hussein. He's head of the United States Army. 4-star general. We're surrounded by 2 to 4-star generals. So he looks at me and says, Marshall, who is your favorite customer? I said, sir, my favorite customer is smart, dedicated, hard-working, driven to achieve, creative, entrepreneurial, cares about the company and customers, great values, high integrity, gets results, and is a stubborn, opinionated know-it-all that never wants to be wrong. I said, sir, do you think any of the generals in this very room may fit such a description? He looked at me and said, Marshall, we had a target-rich opportunity. Now let me ask you a question. How many of the fine leaders in this very room, how many of you all are just a little bit stubborn or opinionated? Let's raise our hand, just a little bit stubborn or opinionated. Yeah, just a little, of course. And by the way, if we're stubborn and opinionated at work, do we become excessively open-minded? No, this doesn't get better. Now this is very good. Everybody's going to pick one thing to do better. And you're going to talk, let's say, listen, who needs to be a better listener? Listen. Who needs to listen better? Good. If you become a better listener, what happens to your score pretty quick with respect? Up or down? Up. Coaching. Customer satisfaction. Friend and family member. See, the way you get better at everything is don't try to change everything. Let's just pick one thing and get better at that. And I've got some good news. Your coworkers have low expectations. You have coworkers back on the job that are not in the room right now. He does. Where are they physically? Here. If they all knew you were here today, listening to this fine talk from the esteemed Dr. Goldsmith, would they all be holding their breath waiting for the new you to reemerge as a result of this program? Unlikely. Let's tell the truth. Their expectations on you changing, are they high or incredibly low? Low is the right answer. Low. They're very low. Look, it's not just you. It's not just you. It's all of us. Your coworkers have low expectations. They're just happy you're gone for a day. Let's tell the truth there. And as low as the expectations of your coworkers are, they're low. There are another group of humans that have even lower expectations of your coworkers. Who am I talking about now? The people we live with. If you don't believe this is true, you're going to go home and talk to that partner at home. And you know what you're going to say? You know, dear, I met this friendly bald coach, Marshall. Now I'm going to be a better partner in our relationship based on everything I learned at that program today. Look at the face of the other person. They have zero expectations. professor. I was a dean. I was a young, gung-ho PhD, college professor dean. What was my goal? Teach people everything. I've had the privilege of coaching 150 of the most important leaders in this world. What's my goal? Teach people anything. I'm way over everything. Let's all go for something. Let's all get better at something. Does that make sense? Now you're going to talk to your good partner. You're going to say, good partner, there's one thing I want to get better at. Then you say, good partner, here's why I get better at this. You say, good partner, here's one thing I want to get better at. Here's why I get better at this. It's going to accomplish my life. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I forgot one thing. Look at this. Look. I forgot something. If you cannot think of even one thing that you do need to improve, pick humility. Okay. To your marks, get set, talk to your partner. Go, 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 go. What do you want to get better at? Okay, stop. Stop, stop, stop. Now, we are now going to practice something called feed forward. A very positive, upbeat way to help yourself and others get better. Feed forward. In feed forward, you're going to need two roles. Learn as much as I can and help as much as I can. Everyone look up here. We're going to practice something called a participant response activity. I'm going to ask you questions. Do not reply until I go like this. If the answer is yes, I want you all to say yes in a very loud voice. If the answer is no or you do not know, remain silent. If the answer is yes, you say yes. The answer is no, remain silent. Are there some smart people in this room?
Yes.
If you had a chance to learn from these smart people, would you like to do that?
Yes.
Are there some nice people in this room?
Yes.
If you had a chance to help these nice people, would you like to help them?
Yes.
You are either learning from these smart people, which is good, or helping these nice people, which is also good. Therefore, it's going to be all good. What are the rules of feed forward? Rule number one, no feedback about the past. No feedback about the past. We spend too much time in our lives talking about the past. Everyone look up here. Have any of you been impressed with your wife, husband, or partner's near photographic memory of your previous sins, which have been documented and will be shared with us in a repetitive and annoying way? You know what? We cannot change the past anyway. Everyone look up here. Do your hands like this. Hands, 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 hands. Now look around the room at all these nice faces. Look at the nice faces. Look back up here. Smile, take a deep breath and go, ah. You see, whatever sins anyone in this room has committed up until this second in time, we're not going to change anyway. Rule one, no feedback about that. Rule two is harder. You cannot judge or critique ideas. In this exercise, people will give you ideas. You cannot say, good idea, bad idea. I already knew that, that will never work. No matter what people tell you, you are to stand there, shut up, listen, take notes, and say thank you. Now, how does this work? You're going to say, my name is, I want to get better at. The person's going to give you one or two very quick ideas for the future and no feedback about the past. You're to treat the idea like a gift. If she gives me a gift, should I say, stinky gift, bad gift, I don't like your gift? What should we say to the nice person who gives us a gift? Thank you. If you want to use the gift, use it. If you don't want to use the gift, put it in the closet. If you already have the gift, repackage it and give it to your mother-in-law. Just say thank you. Just say thank you. So say, my name is, I want to get better at, 1 or 2 quick ideas, thank you. The other person says, my name is, I want to get better at, 1 or 2 quick ideas, thank you. Then what do? You raise your right hand. That means you don't have a partner. Then you go off and talk to another person. They do this, you shake hands, do it again, and again. Do it about 5 or 6 times, and then I'm going to say stop. Your goal is to talk to as many people as you can possibly talk to in the next 45 minutes. Do you all understand the rules? Positive, simple, focused, and fast. Positive, simple, focused, and fast. My good engineer, we're not going to overanalyze this exercise. This is a simple exercise. We're not going to think this one to death. Pretty simple. That's it. 1 or 2 quick ideas, thank you. 1 or 2 quick ideas, thank you. Go talk to somebody else. When you don't have a partner, raise your hand. That's the signal to the others that you don't have a partner. They'll come over and talk to you and you start again. You all understand the rules? Everybody got it? Stand up. To your marks. Stand up. Up. Stand up. To your marks. Get set. Go. How we look? We'll be more patient when people feel it.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
he's a number 1 engaging leader I worked with.
Good.
He has moved the engaging from 75% to 9%.
Thank you. Congratulations.
So something really...
So, sir, what do you want to get better at? What do you want to get better at? What does he want to improve?
يقول لك شو اللي تحسنه عندك يا ابو حماد. Many things.
Pick one.
One, huh?
Yeah, just pick one.
Thinking.
Thinking. Okay. Before you speak, always breathe. Breathe. And ask at work a question. Is my comment going to improve the other person's level of engagement? Will they be more engaged or less? If the answer is no, should I say it? At home, breathe. Is my comment going to improve this relationship with the person I love? If the answer is no, should I say it? If you have to ask at work, about half the time, it's not worth it. If you have to ask at home, almost never worth it.
One picture with you and with the chairman.
Oh, of course. Thank you, sir. So think, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
But I don't think that he needs
But-
thinking.
but-
Dr. Marshall doesn't need thinking.
But
He has turned around a lot of companies.
he said he wanted to work on thinking.
Yeah.
No, by the way, he can work on whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Your job is not to critique his choice. He said he wanted to be a better thinker. Leave him alone. Quit critiquing. You say thank you.
No problem. Thank
The
you.
rule of not giving feedback about the past.
What?
Okay.
I'm going to talk about that in a second. Don't worry about it. I'll get to that. In this exercise, though.
Usually think about the past to learn from the past.
And then go to the future.
Yes.
Very good. Now I'm going to teach you how to get feedback about the past, then use feed forward to move ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
See, feed forward is the
that's,
future. Feedback is the past. Both good, different though. This exercise though is not feedback. This exercise is feed forward. Very good. Slow down. Thank you. Okay, keep going. Find another partner. Hello. What do you want to get better at?
Okay, I'm trying to balance between maybe
Okay, stop. Shh, shh, shh. Stop. Stay where you are. Stop. Stay where you are. Stop. Now, everyone look up here. I'm going to begin a sentence. I'm going to leave out the last word. You will think of a word. Don't say anything until I go like this. When I go like this, you loudly shout out whatever word is in your head. Sentence, you think of a word. Don't say anything till I go like this. Shout out the word. Are we ready? This little exercise was helpful, useful, positive. People say nice words. Positive, useful, helpful, or even fun. What is the last word you think to describe any feedback activity? Fun. Has anyone ever called you on the phone and said, I have feedback I would like to share with you. Please come into my office. And you said, fun. Fun is the last word you think of. Yet 95% of the people who do this say it is positive, useful, helpful, or even fun. The answer to this question will help you be a better coach and have a happier life. Why? Remain standing. Now join a group with 3, 4, or 5 people. If there's 6, 2 groups of 3. Go! 3, 4, or 5. Okay, stop. Look up here. Raise your right hand in the air. Right hand. Point your right index finger at the ceiling. Point. When I count to 3, point to the spokesperson in your little group. 1, 2, 3, point. Okay, stop. Why do over 90% of the people say the exercise is positive, useful, helpful, or even fun, no matter what country I'm in? Why? Talk to your partner. Come up with a list of reasons. Why? Talk. Da. Oh, what is it? Water? What type of water? What type of water? Oh, just the glass is pink. I thought the liquid was pink. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you gave me the pink glass, and I thought it was pink liquid. I know, thank you. Okay, stop. When I look at your group, point at the spokesperson, and I will call on the spokesperson to come up. Okay, ready? Point. Up. All right, wait a minute. This group is fighting over here. Wait a minute. Okay, sir, this fellow, 1. He's 1. Okay, her, over here. She can come up. He can come up, she can come up. Her, in the white, she must come up. The white one, yes. All right, over here, we got 1, come on up. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on up. 5, 6, this is good. Okay, let's hear it for these 6. Big round of applause, yay, come up. Okay, everyone look up here. Why do about 90+% of the people? Oh, I got some input that I speak a little slower. So if I talk too fast, starting now, immediately raise your hand. Too late after I leave. So if I talk too fast now, raise your hand. Why do people say the exercise is positive, useful, helpful, or fun? Sir?
I think it was because it was done in a less stressed environment.
Less stress. Very good. Less stress. Not under pressure. Relaxed. More relaxed. Sir?
It's one of those occasions where you get to see yourself in a mirror. Somebody would reflect on that. So.
Very good. You get to see yourself like a bunch of other people. Excellent. Thank you. Sir?
Yeah, it's because it's sharing, and you end up seeing the same issues that might someone else would have.
Very good. Two ways, not one way. Sharing. You come to me and say, I would like to get better. Please help me. I say, I can get better too. Please help me. You see how different that feels? Than one person going, you get better, you get better. I have nothing to improve. You get better. Very, very different. Excellent. Sir?
I think we had the intention to say positive things as well. We planned.
It's about a positive future you can create. Not a negative past you can't change anyway. Everyone look up here. How many of us have ever made fools of ourselves in front of important people before? We've all done this. How much fun is it to relive that? Not so much fun. Okay, why? One reason.
I think it was also good because you realized that the partner knew that you need to change or improve this about yourself. So it was a transparent mirroring as well.
Very good, very good. Over here?
Here we talked about that everybody is each other. There's no hierarchy. It's easier to give the feedback.
Very good. No hierarchy and no judging. If I would have allowed you to judge or critique each other, the comments, judge or critique the comments, you would have spent twice as much time debating the value of the comments as listening to the comments. How much do I learn proving you're wrong? Nothing. How much do I learn proving I'm right? Nothing. What percent of communication time is wasted on that? 65. Cut that out. Life is much more productive and much more positive. One gentleman said, I listen better in this exercise than I almost ever listened in my life. I asked him why. He said, normally, when others speak to me, I am so busy composing my next comment to prove how smart I am, I'm not listening, I'm composing. He said, it's amazing how much better I could listen when I just had to say thank you. The irony, this man was a scientist with a Nobel Prize. A man with a Nobel Prize in a management class trying to prove he was smart. I said, you have one Nobel Prize. You might not win two. It's okay. Now, final misconception of coaching. I have to be superior to you or better than you to help you. Or you must be smarter than me to help me. Wrong. How many of you, near the end of the exercise, began to feel the need to say to others in the room, I have your problem too. I have your problem too. I have your problem too. How different were everyone's problems? And it doesn't matter what country I'm in. Now here in the region, I think probably Saudi Arabia has the biggest cultural difference from the West. I've been to Saudi 5 times in the last 2 years. This exercise, all the same. It doesn't matter what country I'm in. It's always the same. Even though our cultures are different, we're not that different in here. We do not have to be better than others to help others. Better off being a fellow human being, stumbling through life, not sure of what we're doing, because that's all we are anyway. That's all we are anyway. And finally, what do you say to all the nice people in the room who just helped you? Thank you. Thank you, nice people. Now look around the room and count how many people did you talk to? Count, roughly.
6, yeah. 10. 6.
Okay. How many?
6.
6, 7, 10.
10.
I think 5 or 6.
Okay, can anybody talk to more than 10? Uh-oh, it looks like the boss won. Did anybody get a 9? 9? Okay, all you 10s and 9s come. I'll see you at the break. We're going to give everybody free books. But before we do that, A big round of applause for all the nice people who just helped you. Thank you. Okay, now I have a question. When's our break? What time?
10 minutes to go.
10 minutes from now. Okay, good. Sit by your partner. Ah, there it is. Okay, we will now talk about a model for developing yourself as a leader and as a partner. Step one, get in the habit of asking a question we in life do not ask enough. What is this question? How can I be a better? How can I be a better? We don't ask this question much. Okay, everyone look up here. We're going to practice the yes thing again. I'm going to ask you questions. Do not reply until I go like this. Don't be impatient. When I go like this, if the answer is yes, you say yes. No, remain silent. In your fine companies, is customer satisfaction important? Yes. More enthusiasm. Is customer satisfaction important?
Yes.
Should we ask our customers for their good ideas?
Yes.
Should we listen to our customers?
Yes.
Learn from these people.
Yes.
Do you have a husband or wife at home?
Yes.
Have you spent a lot of time at home asking this husband or wife, what can I do to be a better partner in our relationship?
No. A big failure,
I noticed a big drop-off in the level of enthusiasm. Who has a husband or wife at home and you have not been asking that good partner, how can I be a better partner? Hands up, come on, guilty. Come on, raise your hand. Bad. Come on, hands up, hands up. Get these hands in there. There you go. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Look at that face. Half guilty. Very bad.
Depends on the discussion.
Now, who is more important? The customers that don't know your name or the person at home who loves you? Who's more important?
At home.
At home. You haven't been asking.
No, I ask once a while.
That means almost never, doesn't it? We know the truth. Look at his face. Guilt written all over his face. Terrible. Bad husband. Bad, bad, bad. Now, we're going to get in the habit of asking this question. How can I be a better? Not just at work, at home. Now, everyone look up here. Should we be asking these people at home how we can be better partners? Yes or no? Yes. Do you all agree yes? Yes. Good. When are we going to start? Now. Shh. Get out your cell phone. It's time to send a text message. You are now going to send a text message to your wife or husband. If you do not have a wife or husband, send one to a friend or family member. You're going to send a text message. Look at his face. Oh, not so brave chairman anymore. Look at that face. You're going to send a text message to your wife or husband, if you don't have one friend or family member, asking one and only one question. What can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? What can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? Send those text messages. What can I do? Send the message. Go ahead. What? You don't have.
She's going to think something is really bad.
The immediate question after we see
What are you drinking?
What is the question?
What can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? Send those messages. You don't have to. It's fine. Do it. Work up some courage. What can I do to be a better partner? Send those messages. Go ahead. Have some courage here. Already?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
She said nothing.
Oh, a good wife. A good wife.
Yeah.
Very good. You say thank you to her.
No.
Thank you.
Already she understands me and I understand her.
Very good. Very good. Now, send the messages. I get so many funny responses. One of the most common responses from the wife is this. Oh, that's common. Are you okay? Have you been drinking? Yeah, a lot of those, right? One of the most common ones from the wife is this. This is your wife. Who is this intended for? I had a young man at Microsoft, right? He raised his hand 3 weeks ago. He said, my wife has sent me 9 numbered suggestions. 9. All of a sudden we hear, ding, 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 ding. 17 suggestions on how he could be a better husband. So this is a good exercise. Now, before we break, this is good to do at work, and it's even better at home. When my daughter Kelly was 11 years old, and my son Brian was 9 years old, I decided I should ask my children, what could I do to be a better father? The problem with asking the question is, you get the answer. My daughter Kelly was 11 years old. She said, Daddy, you travel a lot. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is the way you act when you come home. You talk on the phone, you watch sports, you don't spend much time with me. And she said, one time I wanted to go visit my friend. Mommy did not let me go because you had been gone for 3 weeks. I had to stay home and spend time with you. Then she said, you spent no time with me. That was not right. What could I say? Oh, thank you. Daddy must do better. I said, I'm going to keep track of how many days I can spend 4 hours with my family. Now, by the way, if 4 hours is too many for you,
No.
3. If 3 is too many, 2. 2 is too many, 1. How much time does the average American father spend in a meaningful dialogue with the average American child in a period of 1 week? 7 to 15 minutes. It's 7 to 15 minutes. It's not hard to beat the average. Terrible. I said, Daddy's going to do better. 1991, 92 days, 4 hours. 1992, 110 days. 1993, 131 days. 1994, 135 days. I made more money the year I spent 135 days with my family than the year I spent 20 days. What did I learn? The San Diego Chargers American football team do not really care about me. Now it's January 1, 1995. Both children are teenagers. Daddy is proud. I have my charts. I said, kids, look, 135 days, 4 hours with Daddy. What goal this year? How about 150 days? They both said, no, Daddy, no, too much. You have overachieved. My son said 50 is a much better target. They both voted for a massive cutback of Daddy. I learned a good lesson. When they are little, it is good to do this. Why? They need us. When they get older, it is important for a different reason. What is it? We need them. Do any of you have grown-up or adult children, grown-up children? How fast did those years pass? How fast? What advice do you have for the people that have these small children?
Take care of them and sit with them more.
Take care of them.
Spend more time with them.
Yeah, very important. The years go just like that. I was teaching this class for a company called the Kaiser Permanente Company, a very large hospital company, Oakland, California, Convention Center. 1,000 people in the room. A woman raised her hand. She said, there is always something that you have forgotten. She said, please ask people to do this with their parents. Please ask people to do this with their parents. She said, I went to your class, and my daughter was 17 years old. I asked my daughter, what can I do to be a better mother? We had such a nice talk. Then she said, my daughter asked me, how can I be a better daughter? She thought that was nice. She said, I should call my mother. She said, I called my mother and asked her, what can I do to be a better daughter? Then she said, my mother said, Daddy's dead. I live alone in the country. Every day I take a long walk up the road to go to my mailbox. And almost every day, there's nothing in my mailbox. Every day that makes me sad. She said it would mean so much to me if you would just send me a little picture or a card or a little something, so when I would walk to the mailbox, there would be something in the mailbox. She started to send her mother little pictures and cards every day. What did that cost her? Nothing. What did that mean to her mother? Everything. She sent me an email 3 years later. The email said, my mother just died. The last thing her mother told her before she died, thank you for doing that. If your parents are alive, this is a very nice question to ask for 3 reasons. Number 1, it's good for them. Even if they say you have nothing to improve, they will be proud that you cared enough to ask. Number 2, it's good for you. What is the number 1 regret children have when our parents die? Why didn't I thank them for the nice things they did to help me? Why was I judging them all the time? And number 3, if you have little children, it's good for the little children. Why is it good for the little children? You know the old people you're calling up on the phone? Guess what? You're going to be the old people. Do you want the child to call you up on the phone? Your little child is not going to listen to what you say. Your little child is going to watch what you do. Our values are not what we say. Our values are what we do. Talk to your partner 30 seconds and answer this question. Who is one person you should be asking the question, how can I be a better to? And why is that important for you? Talk to your partner. Go. Talk. You can talk to those two. Join those. So who do you need to ask this question to? Who should you ask this question to?
To my mom.
Your mother. That's nice. Still alive.
They are alive, yes.
Very nice. Yeah, it's very nice. How old are you?
I'm 50. 50.
50, and how old are they?
Say again?
How old are they?
Oh, my mom is 74 and my dad is 78.
It's good to do it now. They won't live forever. How about you?
You ask my elder brother.
Your what?
Elder brother.
That's important. It's very easy for brothers to drift apart.
Sorry?
To drift apart. The brothers drift away.
Yeah.
It's good not to do that. It's good to try to keep connected. That's very good. Very good. Yeah, all this stuff I teach, it's good at work. It's better at home. Yeah, ultimately, people at home are more important than people at work. Yeah. And it's easy to forget in the corporate life. You know, forget what matters. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Sir, Mike. Oh, good. Okay, stop. Now, before we go to break, it's break time now, right?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay, good. We're going to share a model. This is a proven model to help yourself and others get better. Step 1, get in the habit of asking, how can I be better? In my coaching, everyone identifies who are your key stakeholders. Who are the most important people in your life? And you ask these people, how can I be better? So get in the habit of asking this question, how can I be a better boss, friend, family member, team member? Then the next step in the process is listen. And listen in a way that does not involve judging. Try to listen people without talking. If I ask you for ideas and then I start talking, it sounds defensive, denial, rationalization, excuses. Fight the urge to make excuses and just listen. Now the next thing is think. And a good thing to remember is avoid speaking when angry or out of control. Avoid speaking when angry or out of control. You get angry, you get out of control, your IQ goes down 20 points. Your IQ goes down 20 points. By the way, there's one thing worse than speaking when angry or out of control. Worse. What is worse? Sending emails when angry or out of control. Even worse.
Or take a decision.
Yeah, don't take the decision. Calm down. Calm down. Let the anger go away. Then take the decision. Then speak. Then send the email. Don't do that when you're angry. Now, the next thing is thank people and fight that urge to punish the messenger. Fight that urge to punish people who tell us the truth. Now, we're going to do that yes thing again. Remember the yes one we did last time? Not so good last time. We're going to try again. We're going to try to do better. Are we ready? We're going to do another one of those yes. If the answer is yes, you say yes. No silence. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
We should encourage our coworkers to tell the honest truth.
Yes.
More enthusiasm.
Yes.
And how about punishing the messenger? Punishing those people that try to tell the truth. Punishing those brave people. Would you agree with me? That would be a very bad idea.
Yes.
A terrible idea.
Yes.
An awful idea.
Yes.
Am I in a room surrounded by hypocrites? Now you see, you told me punishing the messenger was a bad idea. I heard it. A terrible idea. Awful idea. I heard it. I'm going to give you an example of punishing the messenger from your own life. Someone gave you feedback. And we're going to say, did you say thank you or punish the good person who tried to help you? Are we ready? You have a hard day at work, a hard day. You go home. Your wife, husband, or partner is there. You get in the car to go to the store. You're driving to the store. Lots of traffic. Cars are cutting in front of you. People are honking their horns. That person in the front seat goes, "Look out, there's a red light up ahead." Did you say, thank you? Thank you. Or perhaps something that sounded like, what do you mean there's a red light? Don't you think I can see? I know how to drive this car. Why don't you be quiet and let me drive? Look at these guilty faces. Guilty, guilty, guilty. How many of us have ever chosen plan B and screamed at that person in the front seat? Come on, get your hands up. Come on, I see that guilt. Hands in the air, come on. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Terrible to talk to the driver.
Your first name is?
Goldsmith.
What was the cost of that nice person saying, hey, there is a red light ahead? What did that cost anyone? Nothing. What could that have saved? Your life, that person's life, and the lives of other innocent people. If someone gives us something that cost absolutely nothing and could save valuable lives, what should we say to such a good person?
Thank you.
Thank you. Look up here. Look up here, everyone. The next time you're driving and that person corrects your driving, you are going to go just like this. Thank you. Talk to your partner 30 seconds and answer this question. Why do we scream at that person in the front seat instead of just saying thank you? Go! Why are we screaming? Talk to each other. Why do we scream? So why do we scream? The bad cost us. Why do we scream?
Yeah, for all the reasons you mentioned. Because we think we know everything.
We what?
We think we know everything.
We
have
think we
control.
know
Under stress, maybe. Under stress. We think we have the control.
Yeah, macho. Why do we scream?
Reflection of our own frustration.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. Right?
It does happen all
the time.
And it's so
hilarious.
stupid. It's so dumb, too. Oh, we all want honest feedback. Oh, sure we do. Yeah, we love that, don't we? What a bunch of bullshit. Okay, stop. Stand up. Shh. Look over here. Stand up. Stand up. You. Go up. All right. No, not everyone. Just him. Just him.
Just me.
All right. Shh. Now, why do we scream at this person? Why are we screaming?
As we said, because we think we know everything.
Oh.
We think we are in control.
Oh, wait. He knows everything, and he is in control. So you yell and scream and act like an idiot. Is that correct? And does that prove you're in control or that you're out of control and an idiot? What does it prove? Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, Marshall.
Very good. Very good. Why do we yell at this person?
Because we're just reflecting our own frustration.
Ah, he got frustrated and he has to take it out on someone else. Do you treat people at work that way?
Absolutely not.
No. So in recognition for loving you, you crap on someone because they love you. Is that correct again? Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, Marshall. Why do we yell at this person?
Actually, recently we started not doing that, and my partner, instead of telling me something, she started pointing out on others, saying that, look at this driver, how he's driving. And then we started laughing.
That's good, that's good. Okay, stand up. Why do we yell at this person?
Because we can't change the situation, so we take it out on this person because we feel really stressful.
Ah, and in the long run, is that smart or stupid?
That's stupid.
Very stupid. Everyone look up here. Why do we yell at this person? 2 words, pride and ego. Too much pride and too much ego. Now I have a question. Do we pay a price later for this prideful and egotistical outburst, yes or no? Is it a happy price or a sad price? Smart outburst or a stupid outburst? A very stupid outburst. I was teaching my class at Dartmouth. A man raised his hand. He said, I have an embarrassing story to tell. He said, my wife was always correcting my driving. He said, I'm sick of you correcting my driving. Never correct my driving again. I know how to drive a car. He said, I'm very embarrassed to say, 2 weeks ago, I ran right through a red light and plowed into 2 cars. The first thing he did, he looks at his wife and goes, why didn't you say anything? Now, before we break, I'm going to share 2 examples of ego, pride, and asking for input. Very negative and a positive. First, the negative. There is a great book called the Checklist Manifesto, published by Dr. Atul Gawande from Harvard Medical School. Have any of you read this book before, the Checklist Manifesto? No. You've read it, sir. Very good book. Dr. Gawande, very nice man, very humble man. In his book, the Checklist Manifesto, Dr. Gawande makes a very good point. If you go in for a surgery and the nurse asks the doctor a series of simple questions from a checklist before the surgery, the odds on unneeded infection plummet. Death rate cut by 2/3. Not a theory, fact. The huge majority of hospitals around the world do not allow the nurse to ask the doctor the questions. What is the first question? Did you wash your hands? Why? Ego. According to Dr. Gawande, more people have died because of the egos of surgeons than died in the Vietnam War, the Afghan War, and the Iraqi War combined. Ego. And in the US, it's terrible. In the UAE, it's probably just as bad. Probably just as bad here. Ego. That's the negative. Now for the positive. For 9 years, I trained the admirals in the United States Navy. I do not charge them money because their billing bureaucracy is so painful for an individual. I said, please don't pay me. I said, we'll both make more money if you pay me nothing. So don't help me. Don't help me here. They do not give me money. They give me treats. A few years ago, my treat, day in a nuclear submarine. Me and 8 other old men got to spend a whole day on a nuclear submarine, diving under the water, pretending to torpedo things. Oh, that was fun. 2 years later, I got a better treat. Where did I get to go? Highway to the danger zone. Have any of you seen the movie Top Gun? I got to fly 95 minutes on a US Navy Top Gun fighter jet. 6 Gs, oxygen, flying upside down, doing tricks. I got to fly the plane myself for 10 minutes, and I'm very proud to say I did not throw up. By the way, this was horrifying. It was so frightening. I get in the plane, the pilot says, let's go up, up, 6 Gs, up, straight up, 6 Gs. I'm going, up is bad, up is bad. Then they stall the plane out. I quickly realized something. There's one thing much worse than up. Down. Straight down, 700 miles an hour, straight down toward the earth. I'm sitting there just, the earth is coming at my face, right? And my mind is going, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. My body is going, you're going to die. Before we took off, this young man is asking my host a series of questions from a checklist. The first question for the doctor, did you wash your hands? The first question for the pilot, how much fuel do you have? I said, sir, this is very puzzling. The doctor does not like the nurse asking the question because their ego is too big. I said, no offense, sir. No one has a bigger ego than the United States Navy Top Gun fighter jet pilot who becomes an admiral. You have the biggest ego in the world, yet you do not care that the kid asked you the question. I said, sir, what is the difference? He said, Marshall, there is a huge difference. If the operation crashes, you die. If the plane crashes, I die. He said, if you put a gun to the doctor's head and said, sir, if this patient dies of an unneeded infection, I will blow your brains out, they would ask the questions twice. Well, how important is our ego? Every day we make our ego and our pride more important than our health, than our safety, than the people we lead, than the people we love. Get over this ego and pride, life is a lot better for everybody. Now, when we take a break, let's take about a 15-minute break. We don't need that much time to break. You look speedy. We're going to take a quick break. After we take about a 15-minute break, we're going to come back. I'm going to teach you a proven model to develop yourself as a leader and coach others. I'm going to share a model that you can use to get a great job at feedback, which we mentioned earlier, how to do that. And I'm going to share the story from my friend Alan about how he used simple structure and direction to turn around Ford. So that's all coming when we come back from break. But before we do that, a giant round of applause for your partner who's been helping you so far. Big round of applause for your partner. Yay! Okay, let's take a 15-minute break. Go, go, go. Hello, sir.
My name is Abdullah.
Nice to see you.
Likewise, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Quite interesting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. What's that?
This is nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, while people are filtering back in, let us begin. Now, as we left off, I said, ask for input, listen to it, think about it, thank people. Now, the next thing is respond. Everyone look up here. Do all of you know the term 360-degree feedback? Do you all know this term? Very good. Yes, I am a pioneer in the world of 360-degree feedback, a pioneer. I'm going to warn all of you in advance. It is not always good in life when people constantly refer to you as a pioneer. Pioneer is code for another word. What is that word? Old. Old. Then it gets worse. Mr. Chairman, has this happened to you yet? They give you the Lifetime Achievement Award. Yeah, Lifetime Achievement Award. That's not good at all. No, that means they think you're about to die, you know. So yeah, Pioneer, bad. Lifetime Achievement Award, even worse. No, that means they think you're about gone. Now, I don't know much about much. I know a whole lot about one thing, how to respond to feedback. Now, you mentioned feedback. Let's imagine that you get 360-degree feedback. Let's talk about feedback. Feedback is good for letting you know where you are. Feed forward is good after you get feedback to go to the next place. Both are important, yet different. Feedback, a report on the past. Useful, you need to know where you are. Feed forward after you get feedback. Go to the next level. Does this make sense to you? Very good. Now, let us pretend I just received 360-degree feedback. Now let's see. Let us pretend I need a sample coworker. What is your first name, sir? Tariq? Stand up. Let's hear it for coworker Tariq over here. Very good. Yes, coworker Tariq. Now, coworker Tariq, he is my coworker. Now, I just received this 360-degree feedback. I'm now going to teach you how to do this for the rest of your life if you get such feedback. Positive, simple, focus, fast. Positive, simple, focus, fast. Shake hands. Let's say, coworker Tariq, we're going through this feedback process. The first thing I would like to say is thanks to everyone who has participated. I do not know who said what. Many people took the time to help me. I want to say thank you, how grateful I am. Next, much of my feedback is very positive. Ethical, dedicated, hardworking, caring about the company and customers, getting results. These are important things to me. I hope might score high and did. I want to say thankful for the good feedback. Then don't say but. Say and. There's something I would like to improve. My general idea, pick one thing. Do not pick a laundry list. You're not going to change 50 things anyway. Pick one. And whatever you pick needs to come from where? In your heart. If it doesn't come from your heart, you won't do it anyway. For example, I might say, Mr. Coworker, I want to be a better listener. If I've not listened to you or the others around you, I'm sorry. Please accept my apology. No excuse. Then I would say, I can't change the past. Now here's where we get into the difference between feedback and feed forward. Feedback is indicated I need to be a better listener. Now feed forward. Don't go backwards again. I can't change the past. I'm not going to ask you now for more feedback about that. Give me ideas for the future to help me be a positive and open listener. Whatever he says, sit there, shut up, listen, take notes, and say thank you, don't judge or critique. Never promise to do everything people suggest. Leadership is not a popularity contest. I would say, Mr. Coworker, I'm not going to promise to do everything you and everyone suggest. I'm going to promise to listen to your ideas, think about them, and do what I can. I can't change the past. I can change the future.
I cannot get better at everything. I can certainly get better at this one thing. I'm going to involve you and ask you to help me get better. How much time did that take? 2 or 3 minutes. Positive, simple, focused, fast. Positive, simple, focused, fast. The next thing is involve that person. Have them participate in helping you get better, and then change. I had been in business 12 years before anyone asked me what I consider to be the great existential question. What was the great question? Does anyone ever really change? Does anyone ever really change? I looked at this gentleman and said, I have an undergraduate degree in mathematics, a PhD in organizational behavior, 12 years experience. I have no research to prove it. I guess I don't know. For 28 years, I've been answering this question. Now I do know. I know who changes, who does not change, why people change, and why people do not change. The key to making change last is you have to follow up and stick with it. What does follow-up sound like? Mr. Coworker, 2 months ago, I said I wanted to be a more positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, please give me ideas for the next 2. 4 months ago, I said I wanted to be a more positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, please give me ideas for the next 2. Feed forward. 6 months ago, I said I wanted to be a positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, give me ideas for the next 2. 8 months, 10 months, and you can sit down. What happens if you do what I just taught you? There is a research study in your handout. It is called Leadership is a Contact Sport. You all have the original research. It's in your book. 86,000 participants. We have now replicated this research with 248,000 people from around the world. There is no country this does not work. No country. There is no level of management this does not work, all the way from the CEO to first-line supervisor. There's no industry this does not work. This stuff always works. Every leader in our research got multi-rater feedback. They were all asked to pick something to improve. They were all asked to talk with people, just like I talked to my coworker, and they were all asked to follow up, just like I did with him. Then we did a mini survey to measure, has this person become a more effective leader? Not as judged by himself or herself, as judged by everyone around them. What did we learn? When people said, my coworker did no follow-up, went to the program, did not talk to me, did no follow-up. -3 became a less effective leader. 0 did not change. +3 more effective. 5 companies ask exactly the same question. If you understand probability and statistics, this looks just a little better than a normal distribution curve. I've done something called a control group study. No training, no feedback, no nothing. The control group did this well. Might as well have been watching situational comedies as go to a training program or get feedback. A total waste of time. Table 2, a little follow-up, a little better. Table 3, some follow-up, much better. Table 4, frequent follow-up, much, much better. Table 5, consistent or periodic follow-up, massive improvement. In most cases, they all went to the same program. In many cases, it was all taught by the same person, me. They got feedback on the same process at the same time. What did I learn? To quote my good friend Alan Mulally, if you get better, it does not have much to do with me. It's got a lot to do with you. Everything I taught you today works. It doesn't kind of work or sort of work or only work in this country or that country. It always works. It doesn't work if you don't do it. And the challenge is not understanding it. The challenge is doing it. When the book you got, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, this book, when this book was the #1 best-selling business book in the United States, the #1 best-selling diet book in the United States sold 10 times as many copies. Americans get fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter while purchasing more and more diet books. If purchasing diet books would make you thin,
Americans would be the thinnest people who have ever lived. No one loses weight because you purchase a diet book. You have to go on a diet. I made a mistake with this book. Too late now. The title. I love the title. What got you here won't get you there. If I had to change the book title, I would have changed it. I should have named this book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, Diet. Then I would have really sold a lot of books. Now, I'm often asked, do people change behavior or are they merely perceived as changing because they do the follow-up? The answer to this question is the opposite of what you might think. It's easier to change behavior than it is to change perception. Changing perception is hard. One of the best research principles in psychology is called cognitive dissonance theory. We all view people in a manner that's consistent with our stereotype. If I have a stereotype of you that says he is a bad listener, I'm going to look for a bad listener until I find it. Now, why is follow-up so important? Let us imagine, your first name, sir? Let's say his problem is you make too many destructive comments about other people. I picked that because it seems so simple. He said, that's easy to fix. Quit doing it. I'm his coworker. Not so simple. Case study A, he gets feedback. He says, I'm going to quit make these bad comments. He goes 7 months and never makes one comment bad about anyone. 7 months. 7 months later, he says, idiots in finance, bean counters, how do we get anything done in the company run by stupid accountants? I hear him. My reaction, he's never changed. That one comment will trigger the previous stereotype. Never changed. Case study 2, he talks to me. Coworker Marshall, I want to be a great team player, not make these bad comments. Help me. I don't believe he's going to change. 2 months later, though, he says, it's been 2 months. Now give me ideas. I think. Good job. Keep it up. 4 months. Good job. You see what's starting to happen. Not only is his behavior changing, my perception is changing. 6 months. Great job. 7 months. Stupid SOBs in finance. I say, you went 7 months without saying that. You should not have said that. He said, you're right. I'm going to apologize. Situation A, did his behavior change? Yes. Did my perception change? No. Situation B, did his behavior change? Yes. Did my perception change? Yes. In leadership, it doesn't matter what I think I said. All that matters is what people hear. Does this make sense? And in life, we don't see what's there anyway. We see what we think is there. Now, everyone look at your watches. Do any of you have a watch with all Roman numerals? Please raise your hand. I need to see Roman numeral watches. Look at your watch. Roman watches? No? No Roman numeral watches? Okay, get out your cell phones. Do a Google search, Roman numeral watch, and then tell me when you find one. The X's and the I's and all that. Roman numeral watch. Okay. Let's see. No, that's Arabic. Okay, Roman numeral watch. We're going to do a search for the Roman watch. Yeah, okay. And raise your hand when you find it. Roman, let's see, sir. Let's see here. Let's get another one. Find another one. That one doesn't quite work. Get another Roman watch. Let's see. Yeah, here, she's got a whole bunch. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. That's okay. Can you make that one show up? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, give me another one. Give me another one. Perfect. Get a pen and paper and go up. Get a pen and paper and go up to the front. Yeah. Let's see. Roman watch. Yours is perfect. You get a pen and paper, go up to the front. Sir, yours is perfect. Pen and paper, go up to the front. Go ahead, get up there. Yours is perfect. Pen and paper, go up to, and don't talk, by the way. Pen and paper up to the front. Don't talk. I need about 7 or 8. Let's see, sir, yours is perfect. Pen and paper, go to the front. Yours is perfect. Pen and paper, go up to the front. Anybody else got one? I need about one more. Let's see, sir. Yours is perfect. Pen and paper, up to the front. Everybody get up to the front that I called out. Okay, let's see. Maybe you have time for one more. Perfect. Pen and paper to the front. Okay, everybody, pencil and paper. Stand up on stage and spread apart. Talk! Don't talk. Spread apart. Spread apart. Do not talk. Get up on the stage. Don't talk. Okay. No talking on the stage. Okay, ready? Now, take a last look at the watch. Okay, tell me when you're ready. Turn it over. Spread apart. Spread apart. Spread apart. Okay? Shh, shh, shh. Total silence. You have to draw it. Turn it over so you can't see it. Okay? Spread apart. You don't need that thing here. Draw the shape of the face of the watch. Is it square, round, or rectangular? What is the shape of the face of the watch? Just draw a picture of the shape of the watch. And bigger than scale. Perfect, sir. Very good. Don't look at it, though. Turn it over. Bad, bad, bad. Turn it over. Draw the shape. Draw a picture of the shape. No, you don't have to write it down. Just draw a picture of it. There you go. Perfect. Very good. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Very good, very good. Now, in roughly the right spot, draw a picture of the Roman numeral 10. What does the Roman numeral 10 look like, the 10? Draw a picture of the 10. He got it perfect. What's the 10 look like on a Roman numeral watch? Of course, perfect. Shh, shh. Very good. Very good. Excellent, excellent. 10. What's the 10 look like? There you go. Draw 10. Very good. 10. You're doing everything. There you go. Draw the 10, you see, the 10. Now, good. Now, roughly the right spot, draw a picture of the Roman numeral 4. What does the 4 look like, the 4? He got it perfect. You sit down. You sit. Sit, sit, sit. You got it perfect. No, you sit. You go down. I understand. You go sit down. Don't talk. Just sit, okay? You got it. You sit. You sit. You got it perfect. The Roman 4. Let's see here. There you go. Ivy, right? Very good. You got it perfect. You sit down. And the 4.
Yeah.
The X?
No.
The 4. What's the 4? I and what? IX? No. IV.
IVX.
Yeah, IV. Okay, now stop. Now, very good, sir. Excellent. You guys are perfect. Shh, shh, shh. Now, do you believe that self-confidence is important as a leader?
It is. Yeah, it is an inherent character.
And do you believe in yourself?
Yes.
They believe. Shh, shh, shh. They believe in themselves. And you obviously all said the 10 is X. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And the 4 is, of course, an IV.
Yeah.
And you believe that's right. Now, what's your favorite charity? A nice cause you want to give things away to.
Sorry?
A cause, orphans or poor children or something. Do you have a nice charity?
Okay.
Do you have a nice charity here for your company? A good cause? Yeah, what is it? Very good. So, is it a good cause? I think you're all wrong. If you're right, I'm going to donate whatever you suggest. If you're wrong, you can make the donation. Up to 100 US. I think you're all wrong. Do you want to, what do you think? Do you think you're right?
About what?
The X and the IV.
Yes, I'm right.
Well, for the charity, up to 100 US, what do you want to invest? If you're right, I'm going to donate the money. And is it a good charity? Fine charity, very good charity, yes. Give me a number between $1 and $100. What is it? $100. Ooh, how about you?
$50.
50? 100. 100? Look at the clock, look at the watch, look at it, and look at the 4. Turn it over, look at the watch, look at the clock. Now look at the 4. Is it an IV? No? 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 Let's hear it for lots of donations for the good charity. Very good. Big round of applause. Thank you. Now, I just taught you, shh, shh, shh. Quiet, quiet, quiet. I just taught you an interesting lesson in perception. Ancient sundials don't have IVs. They have 4 eyes. The Roman god Jupiter's symbol was an IV. They didn't have a J in the ancient Latin. J was an I.
U was a V. IV was JU, symbol of the god Jupiter, considered sacrilegious to put on a sundial. The Swiss copied the sundial in making the Roman numeral watch or clock. About 95%, not 100%, of all watches and clocks have 4 eyes. I have done this with people. I did it yesterday with an accountant in Dubai. I did a bunch of accountants yesterday in the class. A gentleman stood up there. He had the same Rolex watch for 40 years. I said, what does the 4 look like? He said, obviously an IV. He looked at it. He looked at that watch every day for 40 years. He never saw it. It's 4 eyes. We don't see what's there. We see what we think is supposed to be there. Now, 2 favorite stories. I did this with the managing partners of Goldman Sachs, who know almost everything about almost everything. They all have Cartier watches. So I said, let's play a game for charity. I think none of you have a watch with an IV. The Goldman Sachs managing partner. Make it $500. I said, you're rich, make it $5 million. He said, make it 500. I said, look at your watch. He looks at his watch, he looks up at me and he goes, how did you do that? As if I changed his watch. Well, in life, we often do not see what's there. We see what we think is supposed to be there. Now, I'm now going to give you some very simple tools that help you do a great job of alignment. We talked about this last night. I'm going to share what my friend Alan did at Ford and give you tools that you can immediately take back and use. The key is this. It's okay to need help, and it's okay to need structure. In life, we're too proud to need help and structure. The doctors, why do the patients die? The doctor is ashamed to admit they need help. So rather than the doctor facing their shame, people die. Nobody wants to embarrass the doctor, so they just let the patients die. Terrible. Well, once we get over this macho need to know everything, life is better for all of us. One thing I'm very proud of in my book, Triggers, 27 major CEOs endorsed the book. 27, including the CEO of the Year in the United States, winner of the President Medal of Freedom, President of the World Bank, CEO of Pfizer, on and on and on. Why am I so proud? 30 years ago, no CEO would admit to having a coach. They would have been ashamed to have had a coach 30 years ago. Today, they're proud. It's a different world. How many of the top 10 tennis players have coaches? 10. Well, it's not because they're losers, it's because they're winners. Well, there's a lot of changes. Now, I pay a woman to call me on the phone every day. She called me this morning. She calls me every day. Every day, she just listens to me read questions I wrote and provide answers I wrote every day. Someone asked me, why do you pay a woman to call you every day? Don't you know the theory about how to change behavior? I wrote the theory about how to change behavior. That's why I pay her to call me every day. I know how hard it is. My name is Marshall Goldsmith. I pay someone to call me every day just to listen to me read questions I wrote and provide answers I wrote every day. Why do I do this? I am too cowardly to do this by myself. I'm too undisciplined to do this by myself. I need help, and it's okay. Now, we all need help, and it's okay. For example, who needs to be a better listener? Raise your hand. Better listener. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. Better listener. Ah, sir, in the blue. What's your name, sir? Stand up. And your first name again is?
Bredrick.
Bredrick.
Bredrick, yes.
How do you spell it?
Bredrag.
Bredrick. Okay, Bredrick. Very good. Raise your right hand. You need to be a better listener.
Absolutely.
How many years have you been needing to be a better listener? Roughly.
A long time.
Decades, right?
Decades.
Raise your right hand. My name is Bredrick.
Bredrick. My name is Bredrick, yes.
I need to be a better listener.
I need to be a better listener.
I have not fixed this by myself in decades.
I have not been fixed this in decades.
Who am I kidding? Say this, who am I kidding?
Who am I kidding?
I am not going to fix this by myself in the future. Say that.
I'm not gonna fix it
By myself.
by myself in the future.
I need help.
I need help.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Let's hear it for him. Yes, very good. Now, thank you. Now, we all need help, and it is okay. Let's face it, if you haven't fixed something in 20 years, why do you think you're going to fix it in the future? You're not. I hate to tell all of you this. The pace of change you are experiencing today is the slowest pace of change you will ever experience for the rest of your life. Let me repeat that. The pace of change you're experiencing today is the slowest rate of change you will ever experience for the rest of your life. It's not going to slow down. It's going to get worse. Why don't people do what I teach? A dream. A dream. Years ago, my biggest client, Johnson & Johnson. Do all of you know the company Johnson & Johnson? Yes, I had the privilege of working with their top 2,000 leaders, all the way from Ralph Larson, the CEO, down to number 2,000. They all went to my class. They were part of the research study I showed you. They all said, at the end of my class, are you going to do what Marshall taught you? What did I teach them? Pick one thing to improve, talk to people, follow up, get feedback. A year later, 98% said, yes, I'm going to do these things. 1 year later, 70% did something, 30% zero. Not 1 minute. I'm not ashamed of these numbers, I'm proud. 70% of 2,000 people is 1,400 people, getting rated by 10 coworkers each. 14,000 people have a little better life. I'm not ashamed of that, I'm proud of that. I got to talk to the people that did nothing and ask a question. Why did you do nothing? Their answer had nothing to do with ethics or values or integrity. They won an award, most ethical company in the world. They're good people. I'm sure you are good people. Had nothing to do with intelligence. They're smart. You're smart. The reason people did nothing had to do with a dream I've had for years. I'm going to make a prediction. Many of you have had this dream. This same stupid dream on a recurring basis for years, which will describe why we don't do what we know we should. Some of you are skeptical. You think he doesn't know my dreams. Do not bet against me on the dream. What does the dream sound like? I'm incredibly busy right now. Given pressures of work and home and technology that follows me everywhere, emails, voicemails, global competition, I feel about as busy as I ever have. Sometimes I feel overcommitted. Every now and again, my life feels out of control. You know, I'm working on some very unique and special challenges right now. I think the worst of this will be over in 4 or 5 months. And then I will take 2 or 3 weeks, get organized, spend some time with the family, begin my new Healthy Life program, and everything will be different, and it will not be crazy anymore. Everyone look up here. How many people in the room have ever had this dream before? How long have we been having this stupid dream? She was having the dream the entire time I was speaking. I saw the dream in your face. Look up here. There's not going to be any 2 or 3 weeks. Sanity is not going to prevail. Tomorrow's going to be crazier than today. Are any of you in a job where you have to make numbers every year? Numbers. You got to make those numbers. 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 Has to make numbers. Sir, you have to make those numbers? Stand up. What's your name, sir? Subhash. You have to make numbers. Everyone look up here. Let's all pretend Mr. Subhash over here overachieves on every number this year by 25%. 25% above all targets. Big cheer for him. Yay! Woo, woo! 25% above all targets. Is your boss in the room?
Yeah, my boss is around.
Where's your boss?
Mr. Said and
No,
Mr. Sumit.
where's your immediate boss?
Immediate boss is Mr. Sumit.
Where? This guy over here.
Yeah.
Now, if you're 25% above all targets, what are the odds he's going to sit there and say next year, take a break? You're working too hard.
Yeah.
Let's lower the goals.
Obviously, I cannot change the numbers myself. It depends on the teamwork.
What happens next year, though, to the goals? Going down or up?
And go up.
Up! Up! Let's go over here. Stand up. Let's imagine you overachieve by 25% on every target. Who's your boss? Where? Where's that big boss? Over there. What are the odds he's going to sit there and say, take a break? Is that going to happen?
No, never.
What about next year? Down or up?
Up.
Up. Stand up. You, stand up. Yeah. Let's imagine you. Who's your boss? Yeah, over here, right? Yeah. Now, what about you? If you overachieve, is he going to say take a break? No. What about next year's target? Up. How about you? Stand up here. Who do you report to? This guy up there, right? What if you overachieve by 25%? Down or up? Up. It's always going up. Now, I want all of you to realize one thing. Up. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I forgot. How about you? It is above 20. Who do you report to? Oh, this guy. And what's going to happen next year? Up. The end of the road. Let's hear it for the chairman. Yay! Well, it's always going to be crazy. It's always going to be crazy. It's not going to be sane. And we all need help, and we all need structure. So I'm going to give you a couple of real simple guidelines that are going to help you do what we talked about last night: keep in focus, keep alignment, feedback, structure, and get the job done. Now, this is called 6-question coaching. You have the handout in your book. It's a simple tool. You really don't need to take notes because it's in the handout's in the book. So if it's published, you don't need to write it down. If you just do this, everything gets better. Alignment is better, feedback is better, everything is better. 6 questions. Here's the way it works. Let us pretend that I'm your boss and you report to me. About once every 2 to 3 months, we go through these 6 basic issues. Issue number 1, where are we going? I say, okay, here's where I see us going as a team, and then ask a question. Where do you think we should be going? We have a dialogue. The bigger picture. Question number 2, where are you going? I'd say, here's where I see you and your part of the business going. Then ask the person, where do you think we should be going? Again, another dialogue. You want to have alignment 2 ways. 1, big picture, small picture. 2, you, me. Number 3, doing well. Here's what I see you and your part of the business doing very well. Then ask a question. What do you think you're doing well? A good question. What do you think you're doing well? Because sometimes we don't recognize people, not because we're mean, we just don't know. He might say, my team worked all weekend to help you, boss. We made the presentation, it was great. Maybe I said, I didn't know that. I should recognize the team. Ask. Number 4, suggestions for improvement. Here's ideas I think can help you get better in the future. Then ask him a question. If you were the coach for you, what suggestions would you have? If you were the coach for you, what suggestions would you have? A great coaching question. Number 5, how can I help? And then number 6, I'm your manager. Here's what I want to get better at. What ideas for me? 6 basic questions. I have done this with 7 CEOs that I've coached, and I can mention their name. One of them was Steve Sanger, who was the CEO of General Mills. One was George Borth, CEO of Toyota Financial Services, CEO of CalPERS, CEO of Getty Images. Every one of these had massive improvement. Jim Morton, CEO of John Hancock Life Insurance Company, went from an 8 percentile to a 98 percentile on coaching and feedback in 4 years. 8 to 98, this is all he did. He said, I spent less time with people when I was rated a 98 than I did when I was rated 8. I had structure, though. Very clear, simple structure. Now, here's the key to making this work. It's called mutual responsibility. As a manager, let's say you and this guy, okay, over here. You say to him, every 2 to 3 months, I'm going to take the responsibility to have this discussion with you. Now, then you say to him, if at any time you feel a lack of clarity, need for feedback, not clear on alignment, you take the responsibility to talk to me. If I do my job every 2 to 3 months and you do your job in between, there's zero reason we should have a problem. I have never seen this fail. The key, though, is mutual responsibility. As a manager, you're partly responsible. He's also responsible. Everybody's trying to get better. Not just you, it's you and him. For you and him, each way down the chain. Everybody takes responsibility. Does this make sense? Okay, good. Now, I'm going to share what my friend Alan did at Ford. Now, by the way, there's also an article in your handout about this too. So it's all in the handout. So I wrote the article with my friend Alan. Here's what he did to turn around Ford. The first thing he did is, you asked me a question last night, establishing a culture. I have never seen anyone do this better. He goes to Ford. The company is going bankrupt, losing $17 billion. The stock is down to $1, tanking. You heard the story. Awful story. My friend Alan is appointed as the CEO. I was the first person he called. What did I tell him? Take the job. Take the job. You may fail. Take the job. Go for it. I said, if you fail, no one's going to blame you anyway. The company's going bankrupt. You succeed, you're a hero. Did he succeed? Huge, huge success. So my friend Alan goes to Ford. The first thing he does is desired leadership behavior. Now, last night we were discussing culture. Fantastic example. He sits down with the management team, and they agree on how they're supposed to treat each other. And by the way, if you look at this book, there's nothing he did that is not in this book. It's all simple stuff. I was his coach. There's nothing he did that's not in the book, right? Well, what happens? Once they agree on behavior, that's not the hard part. It's easy to agree on behavior, and to be honest, it all sounds the same. If you look at his list, you already saw it. It's nothing. You see anything weird? No. It's all the same stuff, right? Treat people with respect, and be a good team player, and don't make bad comments, and simple stuff. Well, what happens? Here's the difference. Alan said, starting today, zero tolerance for bad behavior. Zero tolerance. I've never seen a leader do this. What does that mean? There is no more bad behavior. Use your cell phone in the meetings. He stops the meeting. Is there something on a cell phone you need to share with everybody? 2 people have a side conversation. Stops the meeting. We don't do that. No sarcastic comments. No negative comments about people. No putting people down. No showing how smart you are. Zero. Zero bad behavior. Then he said, starting today, no bad behavior. One guy goes over his head to the chairman, Bill Ford. He says, Bill, this is childish. Boy Scout. Nonsense. If I want to make sarcastic comments, I will. Who is this guy? Bill Ford said, he's the boss now. Talk to him. He goes to talk to Alan. Alan looks at him and says, I made a choice, you made a choice. Goodbye. Second guy goes to Bill Ford. Back to Alan. I made a choice, you made a choice. Goodbye. That was it. 14 of the 16 people that led the company to bankruptcy were the same people that turned the company around. He only fired 2 people, and they fired themselves. That was it. 14 of 16 stayed the same, 2 out. After that, to change the culture, every team meeting, each team member had 2 guests to watch. They watched the team meeting. Why? His attitude, we're not going to talk how to live as a team. We're going to demonstrate it. You're going to watch the way we treat each other. That's the way we're going to act. How quickly did that culture change? Boom. Why? This is the new world. This is the way we're going to treat each other. It's no longer a vote. Once he did that, boom, the company started changing. Now, the second thing he did, which we'll talk about, clear on priorities. He sits down with the top 16 leaders and he says, top 5 priorities each, red, yellow, green. Green, I'm on plan. On plan is green. That white one is it. That's the story. Green, on plan. Yellow, not on plan, have a strategy to get there. And red, not on plan, no strategy. Red, yellow, green. You heard the story. The first meeting, 16 times 5, 80 priorities, red, yellow, green, losing $17 billion. What did he see? 80 green, all green. Everyone is on plan, all green. So my friend Alan says, excuse me, we're losing $17 billion and everyone is on plan. He said, I guess our plan must be to lose at least $17 billion because we're all on plan. Do it again. Finally, someone said red. This is when the company changed. Alan stands up and applauds. He says, thank you for having the courage to say red. Thank you. Then he said something I've never heard a leader say. He said, you're not on plan. You don't know how to get there. You're lost. Then he said, let me assure you of one thing. I know less than you. I know less than you. Why don't we find someone who knows what they're doing and solve the problem? 98% of all leaders at that moment would have said, have you thought of this? Have you tried this? What about that? Back to my friend J.P. Garnier's comment, my suggestions are orders. If Alan would have said, have you thought of this, what would that person have done? Sir, yes, sir. Thought of it now, boss. And they would have run around doing whatever dumb thing he suggested with no thought. Alan said, if I'm not the world's expert on this topic, why am I speaking? Shut up. He said, I'm not the world's expert, why am I talking? The problem was solved within 10 minutes by people 3 to 4 levels below the management team, the people that actually knew what they were doing. Well, once we get over that egotistical garbage about I have to pretend to know all the answers, life is so much better for all of us. Now, you're going to talk to your partner. You're going to have 20 seconds, and here's your assignment. You're going to have to come up with good questions for me. Good questions for me on any topic. Now, here are the rules. This is like feed forward. You're going to ask me questions. If I'm not an expert, back to my good friend Alan, what am I going to say? I'm not an expert. If anyone in the room can answer the question as well as I can, I shouldn't be talking. I'll just say, not an expert. If you ask me a question and I have an idea, I'll give you my idea. Feed forward. What if you ask me a question and I give you the stupidest answer in the whole world? What are you going to say back? Thank you. Thank you. You don't have to do it anyway. I'll never know the difference. Just say thank you. That saves lots of arguing and time. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it anyway. That's okay. Just say thank you. So you ask a question. Now, a couple of other rules. Next rule. No questions about Donald Trump. I'm not an expert on Donald Trump. We're not going to have questions about Donald Trump, so none of that nonsense. No questions about politics. No questions about Donald Trump. I'm not an expert on your country. I've been to 100 countries. Somebody says, what do you think about leaders in our country? If I knew about leaders in every country I visited, I would be a whole lot smarter man than I am. So I am not an expert on leaders in your country. I'm not an expert on politics. I'm not an expert on Donald Trump. So we're not going to discuss those topics. My area of expertise, helping successful leaders achieve positive change in behavior. By the way, people that don't care, I'm not an expert at helping people that don't care. I'm an expert at helping people that do care. Others may be good at helping people that don't care. I'm not one of them. I help people that do care. So that's what I know about and what I don't know about. You're going to have 30 seconds. You have to come up with questions. Talk to your partner, come up with a good question for me. Go, go, go. Talk, 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 talk. Go. So you guys have a question for me? You have a good one? Yes? Do you have one? Get to work. Come up with a question. Go, 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 go. Question, no comments, questions. This is, it's not political statement time, it's questions. Yeah. This is not give me feedback time, just ask a damn question, right? To me. Question to me on any topic. I know, yeah. By the way, if I give you a dumb answer, what do you say back? Just say thank you. Well, you don't have to do it. I'll never know. You got a question? Okay, stop. Shh, stop. Now, stand up. You're not just talking to me, you're talking to the whole room. Stand up. Okay, and again, if I'm not an expert, I'll just say I don't know. It's okay.
How to break silos among executives.
How to what?
How to break silos among executives.
Among the executives. You know, I've got a process called team building without time wasting that I love. I don't know if it's in your handouts or not. I'll tell you what, can you do me a favor? One of you guys, you do me a favor. If I make a reference to an article that's not in your handout, I'll send it to you. Because there's no use people taking notes here. I mean, if I publish something, it's kind of stupid for you to sit there and have to write down a bunch of notes when I published it anyway. Almost every question I get, I've published 200 articles, so I've got something in writing. So I'll send you a copy of it, okay? It's called Team Building Without Time Wasting, so don't worry about taking notes. By the way, also, it's all on video, too. Almost everything I do, not only do I have it written, it's in video if you'd like to see the video. Here's a great way to do what you just suggested, called Team Building Without Time Wasting. Ready? Here's what you do. You get your team together and say, team, we're going to practice something called Team Building Without Time Wasting. Here's how it works. First, you say, on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 is high, 1 is low. How well are we doing in terms of working together as a team, and how well do we need to be doing? 2 questions. 1, how well are we doing? 2, how well do we need to be doing? The average team in the world, we are a 5.8. We wish we were an 8.7. So if your team says, we are a 5.8, we wish we were 8.7, don't feel bad. That's normal. Most of us do not feel our teams are working together as well as they should. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you at all. It's just perfectly normal. Let's say they do that. Let's say 5.8, 8.7. Then you say, okay, we are 5.8. We want to get to an 8.7. How do we close the gap? You get the team together and you say, okay, team, if everybody on the team got better at one thing to close the gap, what would it be? You can't talk about people, only behavior. And so let's say that you prioritize, pick one. Let's say the team picks listen. Then you practice feed forward. You talk to each other team member. You say, team member, we are a 5.8. We want to get to an 8.7. Everyone's working on listening. Other than listening, give me some ideas. What can I do to improve teamwork? Feed forward. He gives you ideas. What do you say? Thank you. Just say thank you. Don't argue. Say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can talk to every team member within 10 minutes. This is done. Now you've got a list. Let people pick whatever they want. Let's say you pick recognition. Now we have a very simple 3-question follow-up process. Sounds like this. About once every month. Team member, partner, we're all trying to be better listeners. Give me one idea to be a better listener. I want to be better at recognition. Give me one idea for recognition. And just I want to be a great team player. Give me one idea to be a great team player. You build in a follow-up system. Follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. In the article, I have a little measure you can use. Follow-up, 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 measure, follow-up, 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 measure. You will get more long-term improvement in teamwork in getting people to talk, doing what I just described, than you will get shipping people off to the woods for a week where they all sing songs and climb trees, but in the real world, nothing changes. Why? Follow-up, measurement, discipline, follow-up, measurement, discipline, follow-up, measurement, discipline. Make sense? Let's hear it for him. Good question. Yay! Okay, sir. Of course. Talk into the mic.
Yeah. Can a soft-spoken be a good leader?
Yes.
Supposedly a person is very soft-spoken and he's very caring and he loves...
Are you talking about yourself or others?
Obviously, like, I'm just asking a generalized question. Basically, if somebody is very polite and very soft-spoken and he's at the top-notch job, can he extract work from the people who are down the line in his business, or he needs to be authoritative and more, stern on his.
Back, Mr. CEO over there. Mr. CEO in the front. This guy. You, Mr. CEO. Now, you met my friend Alan, right? He's not noisy or loud.
Yeah, he's very soft-spoken.
Very humble.
Yes.
Well, stock went from $1 to $18.40. He didn't ever yell and scream. I never saw that guy get angry in my life.
Yeah.
You don't have to get angry and yell and scream.
No, what I mean to ask you, sir, that the CEO, if he wants to extract the work from the people the way he wants to excel or he wants to grow the business, so is it not very necessary that he's very authoritative? Or
not at all. In fact, quite the opposite is true.
Yeah.
My friend Alan, his attitude is, I'm seldom the expert. See, you're talking about a very old model of leadership.
Sure.
The old model of leadership is the leader is superior to the people being led. Peter Drucker taught me something called the knowledge worker. Most of us today manage knowledge workers. Now, what's that mean? They know more about what they're doing than their boss. Look, if I coach a CEO, and the CEO knows more about marketing than the marketing person, knows more about finance than the finance person, and knows more about the HR than the HR person, the CEO does not have a leadership problem, they have a selection problem. They got the wrong staff.
Yes.
You want them to know more than you. If they know more than you, how can you tell them what to do and how to do it when they know more than you in the first place? So I think you're talking about an antiquated idea of leadership. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Okay. Okay, next. Who's got a question? Over here, sir.
You must have met many leaders in your life.
Yeah,
till date, okay. Anybody that you particularly met who has made you feel smart after the first meeting? Usually what happens, okay, what a smart person is. But what kind of qualities a leader should have that when you meet them the very first time, they make you feel smart?
I have to say my favorite clients, the ones I love the most, they generally make me feel dumb. Not because they're arrogant, because I learned so much from them. You see, my friend Alan, my favorite client, I was hired to coach him at Boeing. I was hired to coach one person. 200 people got better. Not because I'm good, because he's good. He goes to Ford, everybody gets better. Well, why? What I tell my clients is, I don't get paid if you don't get better. And by the way, I do not get paid because I am a good coach. I do get paid because you're a good customer. Don't make it about me. The second the client makes it about the coach, the whole thing is a coach critique. You're not trying to improve, you're judging me. Well, what I tell my clients is, let's imagine I'm the best coach in the world and you don't get better. Who cares? Let's imagine I'm the worst coach in the world and you do get better. Who cares? This is not a contest for me being a good coach. This is a contest for you getting better. Don't make it about me. This is not about my life, it's about your life. So I really keep the focus not on me, but on them. Thank you. Okay, question. You guys have a question? Sir, yes.
So it's not a question, but it's like how comment. Okay. So right now is what you are speaking about is humanity more, but the world is right now is moving more and more into an E slogan. Everything is like electronically. Okay. How can we solve this dilemma?
You can't. All right. Just let me give you a couple of quick guidelines on the new world. This is actually more for you as a parent than it is for you as a leader, okay? I think this is good for you to learn as a leader. It's better for you to learn as a parent, okay? 20 years ago, I wrote an article about this. I said within 20 years, there will be something called instant download, TV quality, audio-visual transmission over something like an internet. That wasn't a hard bet. That was 20 years ago. It happened. I made a prediction. I said within 20 years, media addiction will surpass drug addiction and alcohol addiction combined as a social problem. We're there. Media addiction is a total disaster in our society. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, said 3 weeks ago, never let your children look at Facebook. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, 3 weeks ago, never let your children look at Facebook. Media addiction is a disaster around the world. The average kid that is flunking out of school in the United States spends 55 hours a week on non-academic media. 55 hours a week. That's an addiction. Millions of people in China have been diagnosed as having some form of media addiction. So this is a potential disaster. If you have children, I have one suggestion. Measure how many minutes a week they spend on non-academic media every week. If you're not careful, their lives can disappear. I teach at the Dartmouth Tuck School. The young man that drives me back and forth flunked out of college. Spent 25,000 hours of his life playing a video game called World of Warcraft. 25,000 hours. You can get 2 PhDs in 25,000 hours. He played a video game. That's a disease. That's a disease. By the way, look up here. What is the number one, going into last year, what was the number one most visited site on YouTube? Does anybody know? You should know. PewDiePie. A sarcastic Swedish jerk who plays video games, and people watch him play video games and make sarcastic comments. How many times did people visit PewDiePie? 17 billion. Not million. 17 billion times watching some sarcastic Swedish jerk play video games and make jokes. 17 billion times. What was number two to PewDiePie? World Wrestling. 16 billion visits to World Wrestling. Welcome to the new world. Now, I'm going to give you a guideline from my new book. It's called Leading Your Own Life. If you want to have a great life, live your own life. Tell your children, if you want to have a great life, live your own life. Don't watch PewDiePie play video games. Don't watch World Wrestling. Live your own life. Let me give you an example. One of my neighbors, I have a home in California, and my second home is in New York. One of my neighbors in New York, a young woman, her name, Lindsay Lohan. How many of you have heard before of this young woman, Lindsay Lohan? Raise your hand. Oh, look, almost everyone in the room has heard of Lindsay Lohan. How many billions of hours have been spent with people reading about my neighbor? Lindsay Lohan got drunk. Lindsay Lohan took drugs. Lindsay Lohan was in a car wreck. Everyone look up here. I'm going to help all of you. If you ever think my neighbor, Lindsay Lohan, is a loser, I want you to remember one thing. She is not wasting her life reading about you. Who's the loser, right? You think she's a loser? At least it's her life. You're wasting your life reading about her. You want to have a great life. This is not a theory, by the way, it's a fact. Live your own life. I hate to tell you this, Donald Trump doesn't care about you. Blah, 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 blah. Lindsay Lohan, blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump, what a waste. Let it go. Live your own life. And one of the problems with the new world, media addiction, it's very hard. Everyone look up here. How many of you have had this yourself? You're going to look something up on Google. Look it up. It's going to take 5 minutes. Just one thing. 3 hours later, you're still online. You don't even know why you went online in the first place. It's very addictive. It is very, very, very addictive. So my advice is there's a lot of good here. There's also a lot of bad. Number one, your own life. Be very careful how you spend your time. If you have children, be even more careful. Their whole lives can get lost in this nonsense. Does this make sense to you? Okay, very good. Okay, sir, yes.
Thank you. I just have one question here.
Sure.
There's many goals, many targets in life.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be happy at the end.
Yes.
So what's your definition about happiness?
Two things. One, I've done many programs at my home with retiring CEOs. These things are hilarious. You're a little too young to come to this thing yet, but I'm going to help you. It doesn't last long. Pretty soon you're old. I've done this at my home with 6 sessions with retiring CEOs. These things are hilarious. What are you going to do in life? What matters? It's hard. One of the gentlemen was a general in the Army. His wife said she wanted him to be home. He said, I made it 3 months. I was in the kitchen. I was alphabetizing the cans. He looked at his wife and said, baked beans. Should that be BA for baked? Or perhaps BE for bean? His wife said, get out. She said, this is not the Army. You're not my general. I told you I wanted to be home. I was confused. I was confused. Do anything. You're driving me crazy. Well, what matters in life? 5 things. 1, take care of your health. If you don't have your health, the rest of this stuff really doesn't matter. 2, wealth. Wealth doesn't matter as much as you think. As long as you have a middle or comfortable lifestyle, there's no correlation after that between wealth and happiness anyway. 3, maintain great relationships with people you love. Don't get so busy achieving things you forget people you love. Then, assuming that you have a comfortable lifestyle, you're healthy, and you got great relationships with people you love, what matters? 2 things, happiness and meaning. Happiness means I love the process of what I'm doing. I like waking up in the morning. I love doing it. Meaning is the outcomes of what I'm doing are important to me. Now here's the point. Nobody can tell you what makes you happy. Nobody can tell you what's meaningful for you. These answers can come from only one place, in your heart. That has to come from in here. And what I tell the old guys that are, that go to my meetings, you can't just play bad golf with old people at the country club and eat chicken salad sandwiches and discuss gallbladder surgery. That doesn't work. There's no meaning. You've got to do something that makes you happy, and at the same time, you need to find meaning. Does this make sense? Yeah. I got one more thing to cover. I'm going to stick around, by the way, after we're done. I'm going to be available all through lunch for questions or books or pictures or anything you want. I've got plenty of time. Let me wrap up, though. I've got one other thing I want to discuss. Where is my pusher, my clicker? Clicker search, clicker search, clicker. Where can it be? Clicker. Wait a minute. Oh, it's in my pocket. No wonder I couldn't find it. All right, I'm going to teach you one final thing. This final thing I'm going to teach you takes 3 minutes a day, costs nothing, and it's going to help you get better at almost anything. Are we ready? 3 minutes a day, costs nothing, help you get better at almost anything. Some of you might be skeptical. Half the people that start doing this quit within 2 weeks. And they do not quit because it does not work. They quit because it does work. What I'm going to teach you next is easy to understand. It is hard to do. Are we ready? This is called the daily question process. The daily question process. Now, here's your homework assignment. You're going to get out an Excel spreadsheet. On one column, you're going to write down a series of questions that represent what's most important in your life. These could be friends or families or coworkers, whatever. A series of questions that represent what's most important in your life. 7 boxes across, 1 for every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every question has a yes, a no, or a number. Yes is a 1, no is a 0, or a number. At the end of the week, you fill it out every day. The spreadsheet gives you a report card. I will warn all of you in advance, the report card at the end of the week may not be as beautiful as the corporate values plaque you have stuck up on the wall. I've been doing this for years. When you do this every day, you know what you quickly learn? Life is very easy to talk. Life is very difficult to live. When you do this every day, you don't look at the talk values. Those are pretty. You look at the live values. Not quite so beautiful. Not quite so beautiful. Now, I'm going to share some of mine, but they're not intended to be yours. What is one of my questions every day? How many times yesterday did you try to prove that you were right when it was not worth it? I've almost never got a 0 my whole life. Kind of hard for the old professor not to be right all the time. How about my young engineer? Do you ever try to be right just a little bit too much? Every now and again, yeah. How many angry or destructive comments did you make about people yesterday? Well, we say we want to treat people with respect. Well, why are we stabbing them in the back? How many steps did you take? How many push-ups? How many sit-ups? Did you say or do something nice for your wife, your son, your daughter? How many minutes did you write? Questions about life every day. My friend Jim Moore does this, would tell you this saved his life. It did not kind of save his life or sort of save his life. It did save his life. What's one of his questions every day? Are you currently updated on your physical exam? The first 90 days he did this? No, every day. No. After 90 days, he said, this is embarrassing. I got to get the exam or quit asking. I'm failing the test when I wrote the question. He got the exam. What'd the doctor say? You have cancer. It's going to be fine. That was years ago. The doctor said, had you waited 7 more months, you'd be dead. He knew he should have gotten a physical exam. He didn't do it. Put a mirror in your face every day. It's very hard to hide. You can't hide. Everyone look up here. How many people in this room have ever avoided a physical exam before and told yourself, I'm going to get that physical exam after I go on my healthy food diet and begin my exercise program? Come on, get your hands up. Yes, look at this. Did we trick the doctor with this strategy? I was teaching at the University of Michigan. A man raised his hand. I said, sir, did you trick the doctor with this strategy? He looked at me and he goes, I am the doctor. Talk to your partner, 20 seconds. Here's what you're going to say. Here's one question I should challenge myself with every day. Then you say, here's one question I should challenge myself with every day. Go back and forth until I say stop. Go! Talk to your partner. Talk. Talk to your partner. Now talk to your partner only. You two talk, and then you three talk. Go.
Thank you, sir. Just have one.
I'll be at lunch.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half. You got one for you? What is one question you should challenge yourself with every day? For you. What's one for you every day? Like maybe, did I work out? Did I say something else? Whatever it is for you. Okay, stop. Now, the purpose of this process is write your own questions. I cannot tell you who you want to be. You write your own questions. Every day, try to do this. Now, if you think this is easy, that only proves to me one thing. You've never tried it. This is not easy. Why do I pay a woman to call me every day? I'm not exaggerating. I'm too cowardly to do this by myself and too undisciplined. It's painful. I mean, I mess something up every day. Every day I do something stupid. Have any of you impressed yourself with your ability to do something stupid every day? Yeah. Well, this exercise, you get to look at it. And it's not so pretty. It's hard. It's very, very hard to do this. Why do I pay a person to call me? If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. It's too easy not to do it. It's hard to look in that mirror day after day after day. Very tough. You'll get better at almost anything. It's very, very hard to do. Now, I'm going to finish, though, with some new stuff my daughter Kelly taught me. This is called active questions. My daughter, the professor, looked at, you know the term employee engagement? She looked at employee engagement and she said, everything on employee engagement is how can the company engage employees. Nothing is how the employees can engage themselves. 100%, it's the company's problem. 0%, it's your problem. My daughter said, companies are missing half of an equation here. you should challenge the employees to take some responsibility too. It shouldn't just be the company's job, it should be the employee's job as well. Well, my daughter taught me something called active questions. Everything on employee engagement is a passive question. Do you have clear goals? Passive question. Do you have a friend at work? Passive question. Do you have meaningful work? Passive question. My daughter said, Daddy, challenge people to ask active questions and see what happens. Now, these active questions are amazing. Now, here's my first 6 questions now every day. Our research on this is amazing. Here's my suggestion. Every day, test yourself on these 6 questions, every day. And I'll share the research with you, which is amazing. Question number 1, did I do my best to set clear goals? Every day. Did I do my best? Not that you set goals for me. Did I do my best to set my own goals every day? Question 2, did I do my best to make progress toward achieving my goals? It didn't even say I succeeded. Did I try? See, when you ask, did I do my best, you're responsible. I can't be responsible for achieving everything. I can be responsible for trying. Number 3, did I do my best to find meaning? Back to your question, not just did somebody give me meaning, did I do my best to create meaning? Question 4, did I do my best to be happy? Not did somebody else make me happy, did I do my best to make myself happy? Question 5, did I do my best to build positive relationships? Rather than just asking, do you have a friend at work, were you the friend? And finally, question 6, did I do my best to be fully engaged? Rather than saying, did the company engage me? Well, did I do my best to engage myself? Now, the results of this are amazing. We've done research on a 2-week study. We have people test themselves every day for 2 weeks. What did we learn? 2 weeks later, 95 studies, 2,793 participants, 39% of the people who did this said, I'm better at everything. Happier, more meaningful, better engagement, everything goes up. 67% said I got better on 4 of the 6 items. 91% said I got better on at least 1. 9% said no change. Less than 1% said things were worse overall. You'll get more long-term improvement in employee engagement doing what I just taught you, which, by the way, costs nothing and takes, 2 minutes a day, than any program you'll ever roll out. Why? You get people to focus on the one thing they have total control over. What's that? Did I do my best? If I'm not doing my best, I can't blame you. I can't blame my boss. I can't blame the company. There's one person responsible for me doing my best. Who's that? That's me. Does this make sense? Now, at lunch, I'm going to wander around and talk to as many of you as I can. So over lunch, I'm going to wander around, talk. I'm kind of a coachaholic. By the way, that's my biggest problem. My biggest problem is not doing what I do. I have another problem, stopping. Stopping. Sometimes I fly on an airplane. Sometimes I go on an 8-hour flight. Sometimes some poor man sits next to me. Occasionally, he makes a terrible mistake. He looks up and he goes, "What do you do for a living?" 8 hours later, I look over at the poor man. Why did I ask? Great is the need of the student to learn. Far greater is the need of the teacher to teach. So my biggest problem is not doing what I do. My biggest problem is not doing what I do. Now, let's finish. And then I'm going to stick around. We'll talk over lunch. I want to finish with my favorite coaching exercise in the whole world. Now you're going to get the best coaching advice you're probably ever going to get. Are you ready? Look up here. Put away all pencils, papers, machines. Look up here. Last exercise. For the last time, I want everyone to smile. Smile. I want you all to take a deep breath and go, hand, hand. Now, I want you to imagine that you're 95 years old. 95. You're just getting ready to die. You're on the deathbed. Here comes your last breath. Right before you take the last breath, you're given a beautiful gift. The ability to go back in time. The ability to go back in time and talk to the person in this room. The ability to help this person be a better leader, much more important, the ability to help this person have a better life. What advice would the wise 95-year-old you, who knows what really mattered in life and what did not matter, what was important and what was not important, what advice would this wise old person have for the you that is sitting in this room right now? I don't want you to say anything, write anything, do anything. Just answer that question in your mind. What advice would that old person have for you? Whatever you're thinking now, do that. In terms of a performance appraisal, that is the only one that is going to matter. If that old person says you did the right thing, you did the right thing. If that old person says you made a mistake, you made a mistake. You do not have to impress anyone else. Some of my friends interviewed old folks who were dying. They got to ask them this question: what advice would you have? On the personal side, 3 themes. Theme number 1, 3 words. Be happy now. Be happy now. Not next week, not next month, not next year. Be happy now. The great Western disease is sweeping the world. What is the great Western disease? I will be happy when. When I get the money, status, BMW, condominium, I will be happy when. We all have the same when. That old person is when. A learning point from old people: I got so busy chasing what I did not have, I could not see what I did have when I had everything. Many of you are among the luckiest people that ever lived. Many of you have friends, family, health. Compared to me, you have youth. You have it all. Don't get so busy chasing what you do not have, you cannot see it. Learning point number 2, friends and family. You work in a very nice company. I'm proud to be here. When you're 95 years old and you look around your deathbed, none of your coworkers are waving goodbye. You realize these friends and family, they're kind of important today. They're the only people who seem to care. And learning point 3, if you have a dream, go for it. Because if you don't go for it when you're 30, you may not when you're 40, and you probably will not when you're 80. It doesn't have to be a big one, maybe a small one. Go to New Zealand and speak Spanish, play a guitar. Other people think your dream is goofy. Who cares? It's not their dream. It's your dream. It's not their life. It's your life. I had a very embarrassing experience 2 years ago. I was teaching my class and I said, go to New Zealand. Speak Spanish. A man raised his hand. He said, we are in Spain, you idiot. We all speak Spanish. Business advice is not much different. Number 1, life is short. Have fun. Number 2, do whatever you can do to help people. The main reason to help people has nothing to do with money or status or getting ahead. The main reason to help people is much deeper. The 95-year-old you will be proud of you because you did, disappointed if you don't. And if you do not believe this is true, interview any CEO who has retired. I've interviewed very many, and ask them a question. What are you proud of? So far, none have told me how big their office was. All they talk about is the people they've helped. Final advice is also the same. Go for it. Your industry's changing, your world's changing. Do what you think is right. Maybe you don't win, at least you tried. Old people, we almost never regret the risk we take and fail. We all regret the risk we failed to take. And finally, I had a wonderful time working with all of you this morning. Hope you found our time together to be practical and useful, and hopefully help you have just a little bit better life. Thank you. Thank you. Now it's lunchtime.
Before we move to lunch, Hanadi, she's here. Gift. Gift. Mohammed. Small gift for you. لا لا موجود في Thank you. So we'll start lunch, and then Dr. Marshall, we will start the questioning that you move around your length, right? So please come and enjoy lunch with us. توكل.
وين في مكان
يلا